All right, we are recording, so now I need to get my stuff up because otherwise I have no idea what I'm going to say. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, and welcome to the Krieg Dominion. I'm Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion and the host for tonight's events, this 12th episode of Second Star, a Traveler 2300 role-playing experience, Season 2, entitled Remains, which means, now that I think about it, I need to edit my, oh god, it's been so long since I had to edit my title. Screw it. Whatever. People will be confused. They're going to come here thinking the name of the episode is Durandal. It's actually Remains. It'll be fixed on YouTube. That's all I can say at this point. I am the storyteller or the game master or the referee or whatever term you prefer. I'm the guy running the show. With me, of course, are my three players and their characters. So let's check in with them and see what's new and exciting for them, for the last week or so. Starting with, of course, Charles. What's new for you, man?
So as of tonight, I got to go get a rear light assembly for my car because someone thought it'd be cool to chuck rocks at the parking lot I'm in and got my light. So that's the negative for my day.
Alrighty. Ooh, can I do it for my phone?
Yeah. And other than that, it's prepping for Turkey Day next week.
That is a yearly thing.
Yep. I gotta. We're not gonna do a full bird. We're just gonna do a breast, and then I got some vegetables to go make up a soup for after what's ever left. And the only thing I gotta get next is some storage gear so I can put it in the deep freezer for later.
Now, is there a reason why you guys decided not to do a whole bird, or?
So it's just the four of us. My in-laws are out of town. And then my folks are busy with something else, and normally they would host. But so it's just me, the four of us, and like the smallest one I could find is 12 pounds, and that's just too much left over. So I'm just
gonna that statement, but I do respect your choice.
Right? Oh no! I mean, if I could do it, I would. But I also know that there like the rest of my household would only eat so much. And then so they'd be just
it's just you turkey.
I love
it. Days.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And there'll come a point. Well, I'll just be up on a clock tower.
I'm not sure if I want to know where the rest of that statement goes. You got anything else, or shall we move on?
Side hustle is a mechanic for mechanical clocks.
Sure. Wiggles. Speaking of mechanical clocks, what's new and exciting for you?
So how far apart would you put trestles for a 10 by 15 deck about 5-10 feet off the ground?
6 to 8 inches. I have no idea. I can give you answers all day long. It doesn't mean they make any sense.
I spent $80 on role-playing books that I probably shouldn't spend $80 on, but I did anyway.
Oh, I know that feeling. I did that a couple of weeks ago when I bought Alien RPG, and then the other day I bought like $30. It was like actually $120 worth, but I got it for like $30 for Warhammer 40K Only War. So I know that feeling. I've been there. I've done that multiple times.
The Alien role-playing book is very pretty.
I'm still waiting for it to show up, but judging based solely on the PDF, it looks really good. I can't wait for the book to show up.
Coincidentally, you can also just kind of play travel in it. There's the rule system in there where you just play as space truckers.
Yeah, I know. That's the funny part. I saw that when I was looking through it. I was like, space truckers? Okay, that sounds interesting. It's like, wait a minute. I have a whole show right now that's basically space truckers. Kind of.
Space truckers at home.
Yeah, we have space truckers at home. There you go.
No,
what did you get? What did you spend? What RPG did you buy?
I bought Pirates of Dranics.
You got the box set too, then I imagine.
Yeah, I bought Pirates of Dranics. I spent $80 in Pirates of Dranics, and I got the base book and the companion, and I've been reading through that, and I'm gonna try to run that for pay. So I've been reading through that. That's what I've been doing. I've played in several early parts of POD, but they all falter out really soon.
Gotcha.
God, one of my worst role playing experiences actually was involved with Pirates of Dranics.
Really?
Me
Oh
too.
my gosh,
It's a
yeah.
really good campaign to get into. Or at least let
Oh
me
yeah,
rephrase
no,
it. I've heard a lot of good things. I don't think I've actually heard anything really bad. I mean, I haven't been looking for
no,
reviews or anything,
this
but
was not related to the campaign. The player was just an asshole.
gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
No, so like every fucking thing I tried like talking to this guy, it was always really combative, and it was always everything was just a fucking fight with him. So I thought it'd be like really fucking cool to have like a hiver on board the ship, right? Just be the pilot. It's like, and the guy was like, "Oh, look at a hiver! I better get over here on this side of space." And it's like, motherfucker, they've had FTL drives for like 3,000 years. Everyone's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding a planet of low tech that doesn't have FTL is actually kind of unheard of in a lot of places of the official Traveler universe.
When you had fast and light drives for 2,000 years, you get to explore almost everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then during the first play session that we actually got to play, he was our pilot, and for whatever we were taking off, and then I don't know why he decided this was a good idea. He decided to do like a handstand on the flight console as we were taking off, and the first officer of our spaceship said, "Hey, knock that shit off." And then in response, he drew a gun on him.
Yeah, that's not competitive whatsoever. Combative, not to be confused with competitive. Sorry.
So okay, that's just mutiny, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
like,
much.
so there's two choices to happen now. Like, if we play out the mutiny, we kill him or he kills us, and then like the game's over.
Yeah.
But I like when that happened. I just didn't want to play with this guy anymore. I just did not care. It was just whatever.
It really sucks having, like, there's a lot of challenges no matter what role in the group you are, whether you're a player, GM, or whatever, trying to find a good group that meshes well together. And, I am thankful, of course, that this group that we have seems to work fairly well. I mean, we're like 20 plus episodes into this campaign. So, of course, this campaign's kind of, I don't want to say meandering, but we're not like following a pre-written campaign, so to speak. So, but anyway, yeah, no, it sucks when you get a couple of people together and then, there's always that one. There's always that one.
Yeah, just lost all interest in playing that game because of him. It's like, nah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes for quite the challenge. You got anything else?
I'm probably going to low energy today. I'm tired.
I hear you, brother. Thurgor, what's new and exciting for you, my friend? And how goes the search for the doctor? Which you could probably find on PBS.
Not real well. So we're changing gears and involving some other entities and all that kind of stuff to see if we can't speed this along. At this point, I'm looking not only for a full-time hire, but a locum temporary hire as well, just to get somebody in there as soon as possible. But yet I'm also working full-time, and that leaves me very little time to actually do those other tasks. So it's going slow is how it's going.
Yep, I've noticed in the last week your comments in the Traveler Discord has dropped off a bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
So
that's my tool to gauge how busy you are outside of our game sessions.
I'm not just the only dentist there. I'm also the dental director. But now that our office manager is becoming the unit director, I'm also the office manager.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm having to check up on everybody's time and make corrections in the computer when they forget their punch after lunch, or
All right, so you're wearing all these different hats, right? You have more responsibilities. So how's your pay looking?
Not as good as you would think.
Same, exactly. It's the same. And see, one of the reasons we're having to change headhunters is because she now says all of her candidates have dried up, and she thinks we're only going to get new candidates if we increase how much we're offering. And we're offering a fair amount, for the job and everything. But the soon to be service manager said that, there's no way that right at this particular moment with the way the budget is that we can pay anybody anymore. Because if they pay a brand new doctor more up to the level that I'm getting paid for being the director, well, they're then going to have to increase my pay, to keep that separation. And so it's like two increases for them and not just one. And so I understand all that, but dang, it's hard. Wiggles, 16 to 24 inches.
Yeah, for the trusses.
Yep.
See, you know what? You know what
And-
I like is that the BS answer that I gave of what did I say, 6 to 8, wasn't actually a terrible answer. It just would have been more costly and quite unnecessary. Versus
Yeah.
going the opposite direction of one every foot, and then maybe or I don't know what you said, 16, 24. So that's one every like 3 or 4 feet, which would have been insufficient. So you're welcome for being more than extra, I guess. I don't know.
And 2x6s and not 2x4s for those supporting beams.
Okay, noted. I
As far as
I have no, this is just for the viewers' own sake. Right before we started, every session before we start on Twitch, we have a brief conversation about God knows what, to be totally honest. And I usually end it with, "All right, I'm getting ready to start. Is there anybody that has any real questions that they need from me right now before we get going?" And Wiggles decides to hit me with something about trestles for a porch deck, so many feet by so many something, and I'm just like, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches, man. You can't go wrong. So Thurgard must have Googled it or went to HomeDepot.com or something.
I've built decks before, so
Gotcha. Thurgard, you got anything else for us, man?
that's it. I'm looking to get as muddy as we can get in this place, and
You're gonna get money.
hopefully figure out that it's worth all of our time and trouble.
Well, that will remain to be seen. I will say one thing. I got a little lazy over the weekend, and I didn't prep out a full-blown session. I also did that partially because, on one hand, I'm lazy. On the other hand, I didn't know how to account for how much time it would take you guys to go through this ship and do all the things you might want to do. So, once we clear the ship, whatever that may mean, we'll probably be wrapping very shortly thereafter, which may mean, of course, a shortened session. And again, mostly because I don't know how long it's going to take, and I didn't want to have too many things prepped and not enough to do. I feel like we're going to spend plenty of time wandering about the ship. I could be completely out of my mind. But we'll judge. I'll make a decision at some point, early or not, as to when to end the session, and we'll move on from there. Beyond that, recap. Previously on Second Star, we get a montage scene similar to just about every other TV show out there and their recaps. We see shots being fired back and forth between our party members and some folks dressed in black armor and gear. We see various groups of people meeting with each other, first in a hotel room, and then later in a hangar bay, and then eventually the actual flight from Beowulf to Grendel. We see a very brief cutscene with, I don't remember specifically who it was, but I know Paul Gray, and it was going to be either Milligan or Helwig, noticing that they're being trailed by a ship that never answers the comms. We see a couple of cutscene moments of satellites being worked on by Mrs. Wyatt, EVA style, extravehicular activity. We see work on
They call it sex.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. Carry on.
We see individuals moving around in what look like kind of bulky spacesuits on the surface of Grendel, pulling out solar panels from a storage garage type thing and setting them up. We see other people working on various other sections of the ground station, Llewellyn Station, which of course is the science research facility on the surface of Grendel, which is basically just a handful of habitat modules connected to each other. We see some driving across rugged, I mean very rugged countryside. We see the people, we see the Grendelborn pulling up on the pentapods in their little depression area. The dried out stream bed that they're converting. We see a couple of pentapods firing off these football shaped things with spaghetti like tendrils trailing after them, and then we see the party caught in these egg shaped things, and then the egg shaped things screaming, and then the egg shaped things are then cut free off the bodies, and the screams end. We see a couple of pentapods. I believe Frank had some greenish markings along with Llewellyn, which was brought up later, a slightly different pattern of greenish markings. I don't remember specifically the markings I used or what color they were, but we'll go with green for the most part. And we kind of see like, kind of like subtitles almost, where one is identified as Frank, one is identified as Llewellyn, and the one that is marked as Llewellyn is, of course, the pentapod that you guys first encountered the first time you were on Beowulf when you went up to rescue the students and whatnot. And then lastly, we get to the cross-country trek to the crashed ship. And then the montage actually ends with you guys digging around in the muck around one of the airlocks. And then we see the very last little clip is Milligan and I believe Wyatt, because Wyatt Wiggles had disconnected from the table at that point. But the very last thing we see is Milligan and Wyatt climbing in through the missile bay. And so what we have on the board here, you see we have the token for the Grendelborn, and we have Jackie Smith Daniels next to it. So Jackie Smith Daniels is basically chilling out in the vehicle, more or less keeping comms open and monitoring the situation from out there. But otherwise, like, she just, her whole purpose was to basically interact with the pentapods. And then we have, for some reason, somebody decided to make Dr. Grimaldi bigger than the rest. I don't know why or how that happened, but whatever. We got Grimaldi and Helwig digging at the airlock to get in over here. And then we have Wyatt and Milligan here in the missile bay. And the last thing we had very briefly discussed was noticing that latex on, ready to EVA. Son of a bitch. Now I know what you said. And right before we ended the last session, the last thing that we had noticed was that the missiles are not actually being stored in the missile bay. As in, you look around in the missile bay, the one place on the ship that you would expect to see missiles, and they're not there. At this point, you guys are pretty much free to do as you wish within the ship, but there are one or two things I want to point out first. Number one, the surface of literally everything inside the ship is covered in a layer of, like, frosty, mucky, dirty, gunky, and the floors itself, obviously the ship is more or less upright because they did manage to land, kind of. The floor itself is actually slippery. The interior of the ship is dirty, crusted with ice and muck, with the floors having a distinct tilt to the starboard and aft. Careful maneuvering throughout the ship is possible without rolls, I will say that. So as you move from one area to the next, if it's just a regular sort of movement, there's no additional concerns, like I need to move fast or I'm trying to carry something. No dice rolls are required, but the moment you have one of those extra conditions on you, you will need to roll some dexterity tests to make sure you stand upright. Otherwise, you may lose your footing or slide, fall on your butt, or some other thing. Secondly, everyone, the floor is slippery. Activate your Silvery Tune sound effect on your... Oh my god. Secondly, interior lighting. There is none. Especially now as the sun is starting to sink low below the nearby mountains. So, unless otherwise pertinent, there is a -1 dice modifier due to lack of lighting. You do have lights on your suits, of course, and whatever flashlights you decide to add to that. So you can have enough light right around you to see what you're doing, but as far as, like, basic movement and whatnot, you may cause yourself to trip over something or stumble on something or what have you. So if you do have to make any rolls, there is a flat modifier -1 based on lighting. Any questions before you guys try to figure out where you want to go, what you want to do?
Yeah, so should I go tankless or should I have a large reservoir for my water heater?
Oh.
I really got to stop asking for you guys to ask me questions. That's what I'm really getting here. And just figure out if you're going to ask a question, you'll just pipe up and be like, "Hey, I have a question." At that rate, let's do it like this. So you guys are split in groups of 2. So let's start with well, we have one group already inside, and that would be Wyatt and Milligan. What would you guys like to do first? And let's go roughly by turns. No hard limit as far as like the timeline, but also let's not get more than maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes in at a time before we move to the other group.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sling any weapons or whatnot, which I'm sure they were already slithering through that missile tube anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
just to keep my hands free in here, so I can, run my hand down the wall as I'm walking or whatever.
yep.
To try
a
to
little bit more
maintain some balance somewhere.
Let me get a little bit better view here for the viewers to see what you guys are doing. I'm going to put you guys more kind of clumped.
That's fine.
You are in. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Please continue.
My goal is to sweep the ship, relatively quickly, but to look in everything,
Right.
Sweep the ship, mainly to see, if there's any, I don't know, like where's the crew? Are they still here? Are they dead on the ship or whatever?
Right.
That kind of
you're here
thing.
to salvage. So, like, one of the first things you'll need to do is kind of a catalog or inventory or generic assessment of the entire situation. Holy crap, Charles, are you good over there? Your ping is like maxed. What's that? 999 for a second there.
Yeah, his does that all the time. Yeah.
I got in my things. I gotta them.
I can't tell if he's fucking with me or if that's real. I'm sorry, Charles.
The first.
Charles, do what you gotta do. Hopefully we don't lose you, man. Sorry, go ahead, Third.
So my goal is just to sweep through here, look in every nook and cranny that we can see. After we're sure we've done this deck, find a way up to the upper deck and start at the far end or whatever and go to the bridge, and just do the same thing there.
All right, and then you have Wyatt with you. Now that decision was originally based on the fact that when you first made your entry, we had lost Wyatt on the table at that time. So, Mr. Wyatt, is there anything in particular that you would like to get in after, or are you just going to more or less let Thurgor take the lead and or the first bullet, should there be one?
do we have like rope and shit on the Grindel board?
Let's imagine that you guys probably have like your basic supplies as far as survival kits, which probably would include some sort of rope. Not an excessive amount, so probably no more than like 50 feet or I'll give you like 100 meters of rope, maybe in a couple of different rolls or whatever. I don't know what the right word is. Not necessarily a spool of it, but probably 100 meters of rope. Spread across 2 or 3 different wraps.
And the ship is at an angle?
It is at a slight angle. It's not terribly difficult to navigate. It's just a noticeable difference. So it's not like leaning all on its side. It's just got it's a noticeable tilt, but not one that you can't just walk around on.
All right. So at the entrance inside the missile bay, I am going to tack weld an anchor for some support ropes. So so that way as we walk down the slippery incline, we just won't slide all the way into the fucking end of the ship.
Yeah, you would run into a wall most likely before you got to the end of the ship, but if you want to have some sort of guide ropes just for shits and giggles or extra
100%. That's what I'm gonna.
Okay, go ahead and give me just a basic mechanic 8+ roll. Use your intelligence or education.
Yeah, I'll do that. Fine, whatever.
And there you go. Bam. Yeah. Look at that. You even got like enough extra tack weld on there to hold maybe 2 lines on that individual spot. Because of the
I'll be making those periodically throughout the ship.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Stop.
Makes sense. You never know. I mean, you're not necessarily on the side of a mountain, but there's, like I said, a noticeable inclination there. Let's check in with Helwig and the good Dr. Grimaldi, who, as always, whenever Grimaldi's around, I have to remind viewers at least once per session, Grimaldi has a weird Italian-Scottish mix accent, so I can't even come close to replicating that, but just pretend that he has a noticeable weird accent. Helwig, what is your plan at this point, considering your entry point is right here, then this, and then this hallway?
We're still digging it out because I think last time we were doing anything, it was kind of buried in the muck. So
Okay.
we were taking turns with the
Effective
shovels.
industrial
Yeah.
grade entrenching tools. We can
Exactly.
go ahead and hand wave that you guys have managed to get the airlocks to. Well, here
All right.
I'll let you move your pieces. Let's go ahead
Yep.
and hand wave and say you guys have managed to make entry, and you could probably make your way down at least as far as Area 5 on that side of the ship, if you wanted to go that way.
Yeah, so that's what we're kind of pushing towards, and then letting the other two know that we're inside ourselves from the airlock side, and reporting on what we see, and just that it's slicker than snot, and
I think the I'm not gonna, I don't want to speak for anybody, but yeah, no, Grimaldi's definitely like, you mean slicker and back shit?
yeah. I was just, I just kind of look back at him and just do that whole manners. Hello.
There you go.
Or what was that scene from Language?
Yeah, Language. There you go. He just gives you a look back. He's just like, but it's slicker and Drake back shit. It sounded too much Irish more than Scottish. But anyway, he's like,
right.
He's got his hands up. And he's like, listen, it's slick. Like, it's slick as hell. Like, what do you want me to do?
It's so slick.
Right. And we're doing our best to try to like make our way through there. Using our lights and I don't know if we're doing the same thing as tying ropes off, because that wouldn't make sense to my guy, but more along the lines of trying to find handholds and grab on and crawl up, I guess, a little bit, and then grab on and crawl up a little bit. So at least to this
Taking your time
airlock. Yeah, at least to this doorway set. I forget how to do this.
Tab. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. You can, like I said, you can literally go as far as 5 if you want to. I mean, granted, the key tells you what that is, but
right. We were gonna hold off for a minute and then just gather my wits and just recognize that was a adventuresome walk.
Yeah, and again,
I gotta catch my breath.
Yeah, and again, I just want to point out, like, it is a noticeable inclination, but it is not dangerous necessarily. I mean, if you do something more than just basic movement, like if you're trying to hurry or if you're carrying something, then there is a die roll, but it is not necessarily like you're not trying to manipulate your way across a rope bridge over a 10,000-foot drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, but I mean, it's definitely like, okay, if you've ever been out in icy situations, you know how it's like, oh, my foot's moving a little faster than I want to, so I'm going to take my time with this.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And then there is the whole idea of like this. That's not just air that you're not breathing. That's deadly air that you're not trying to breathe. So let's not puncture the suit, that sort of thing. Okay.
Exactly.
Back to, let me double check here. What are we looking at here? Let me double check my notes real quick.
What is this? Is this a role-playing game? What's happening?
I don't know. I'm just here and I'm running stuff on Twitch and seeing whatever happens. Let me see. Let me see. Armory. You guys are on the lower level. Doesn't really give me a lot to work with there. So that'll be fun.
I have a question.
I have answers. I don't know if you'll like them.
It looks like area 2 and 3 just open up into the mess area where we were.
There is a door. Oh, you're talking about right here. And
yeah.
area
so
3
that's the
is
galley, medical or something. Yeah.
It does look like there's some sort of door, so maybe like a sliding door that easily if assuming power, because there is none.
It might be a window.
It says actually I can't read that because it's kind of out of focus. Let me see what exactly that says on the text, the sacred texts. Where's it? It says door or hatch or both. So that is a door right here.
Okay.
Separating 1 and 2 and 1 and 3.
So what do we have to do to get those open?
I'm not gonna have you roll every single time, because otherwise we'd be here literally all night rolling. So just give me a brief description on how you would manually bash that door open, because there is no power at the time.
Well, usually there's some
We
kind
need the
of,
red key, he says.
Yeah,
isn't there
so
usually some kind of access panel that you can open up and manually crank them open?
I would imagine there would be some sort of, we have no power, but we need to open this door.
I walk up to the walls and I kept on pressing the interact key, looking for a secret passage.
Actually,
what
you
you're
need the
missing
gold
is
key.
what you're missing is it's not the interact button. You have to right click interact to find the secret passages. That's how the devs got you. They're trolling you. You would know that if you had bought the $29.99 GameStop 164-page guide to how to get through this game. I digress.
No. So there's probably like paneling that we
Yeah.
can. We're not being too sacred with the ship, so we'll just like rip it off or cut it off, and
Yeah, I mean,
then
like, you
we
could
could probably get
crowbar it
like
open. Sorry, go ahead.
and then we could probably get like a variable power supply from the Grindelborn, and we can use that to power the doors.
Yeah, if you're gonna do something like that, give me what is that, electronics?
I'm not gonna make it roll every time. Anyway, let's roll.
Well, I mean, you're doing something more than just like using a crowbar. You're gonna try to hook up wires and hope that it, powers correctly. But I will say just a 6+, which you've got easily, even with all the BS there. So yeah, you can. We'll just say you can easily use this device from this point forward to pop doors open. Unless there's some other reason for a roll. And as you could tell there, Area 3 is the med bay, Mr. Milligan.
Okay. Are there any bodies here or anything?
Let me see what the notes say from the official published.
And if we do, we need to let them hit the floor.
I mean, that's usually what you do with them, right?
Just dump them out of the bed. Oh, and in case things go sideways in here, is there like a traveler version of Hunter's Mark? Because if there is, I want to make sure I don't forget to use that.
Hold on, let me get my witch from Celeste in here so she can drop a malediction on him.
I don't think there is. Well, you'd have to have an intelligent weapon and
looking at the group of us, we're not that intelligent.
Yeah.
In your med bay, you will notice, other than the fact that it is clearly intended to be the med bay, that there isn't much left in here at this point for whatever reason, and it does look like it's been rifled through a few times, and it rifled through in the way of, holy shit, I need to find this medication or these medical implements, and I can't find them right away, and not rifled, definitely not rifled in the way of, let's just grab everything and go. So you've got various tools and maybe a couple of pill bottles and various instruments and things of that nature just kind of scattered about, but otherwise there's not much like usable, I guess, if that makes any sense, like, because all this shit
so there's not like a med gauntlet scanner, or these beds here aren't auto docks or anything like that?
No, if the book doesn't give me any specific information about this med bay, so we're just going to assume a couple of beds, and I guess that looks like a maybe a table and chair sort of deal right there for, sit down meetings.
And everything else in here would be expired, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, and when you look at, there's a bottle of, I don't know, 2,300 Tylenol, but you could tell that that's been there for like 10 years, frozen most of the time, dirty the rest. I wouldn't use it.
Throwing on it doesn't mean it's bad.
I know, but do you really want to take that chance, though?
The more important question is, the scumbags we sell it to, do they want to take the chance?
It doesn't matter. But here's the chance that you would end up taking if you did sell it to them. Will they come back after you with guns blazing?
Whatever, they pay in cash.
All sales final. That's what I heard. Okay, that takes us back to Helwig and the good Dr. Grimaldi. What are you guys doing at this point?
So I'm gonna come through this set of doors, and I'm gonna assume the doctor's gonna like get
He is
lost and
going
realize
to-
that that's
Not that he's like your NPC companion like in Skyrim, but he's basically going to
Yeah.
follow you because he doesn't know what else to do. Other than
Right.
he knows he needs to be taking notes and recording and cataloging and all that, but like any sort of like tactical or even just like I don't even know where to begin here in this ship that I want to write
Yeah.
a book about, I'm just going to follow you.
right. So I mean, I kind of go down towards that area 5, and realize that that's a bathroom head. There's
5 is the landing gear.
wait, hang on.
Yeah, you're on the wrong map. Or you're looking at the wrong key anyway.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
landing gear, my friend.
Oh, landing gear. Oh, my
Yeah, you
bad.
guys are on
okay,
the
I'm
lower
looking at the wrong
level.
key.
Of the ship.
Okay, my
and
bad.
yeah, so
So
what you'll notice too is as you come past this door that's right here, that's hard to see because you're standing in front of it. As you come past that door, everything down that almost 10-foot tunnel there, it's basically just wreckage, dust, not dust, dirt, grime, frost. The landing gear never fully deployed, or if they did, it was sheared off when it crashed. So it's all buckled and bashed in here.
Right.
So you can probably.
I,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna walk down there real quick and realize that, and keep going, and then realize that he, not recognizing that, would have done the same thing and got a little closer. And like, dude, you don't need to waste some time.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going.
I think that's exactly what happens. Is Grimaldi goes down there and he's like, "Huh? I guess that's where the landing gear would have been, huh? Yeah, that's pretty well fucked right there."
I just look at him briefly and mutter
Bills.
something in German about Captain Obviousness. And
yeah, exactly. I think he will also, but he also will say, yeah. So no landing gear. Also, we're gonna need to seal this area off in order to get the ship off the ground space.
I'm gonna turn and look at him and go, too many holes, not enough time. We'll have to come back when it's bright and sunny. And
he just looks at you. He just looks at you. He's like, no, I know. And he puts his little notepad, which is a tablet, or
right.
It's an electronic device, but it's actually got like on the screen what looks like an actual legal pad, yellow and everything. And he just closes it, does the little lock button or whatever, and he sticks it back in a pocket.
Right.
He's like, Captain Obvious, yes. As though he understood what you just said in German.
Right.
And then you guys I imagine you're gonna move on up to the next set of doors.
Yeah, to the next set of doors.
What is 8?
And then and then I assume there's gonna be some sort of signage or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'll try to
it's all in French.
rub off. Yeah. Well, I have a subdermal with a French to German translation, so I'll fire that up. The Google Translate or Babelfish, whatever you want to call it, and then look at it and go.
It's something with an owl, but it's wearing like a French beret.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna look at that thing and go, oh, fuel tanks, okay. And then, or I'm sorry, not fuel tanks, the engines.
The
and just go.
Those are the VTOL engines.
Just go.
Do you want to actually go in there and take a look at them and see how badly they might be mucked up, or do you want to just kind of be like, oh, those are the engines?
You know what? Yeah. I'll stick my head in there. So I'll walk into that spot and have Grimaldi kind of stand in the doorway and say, "I'm going to shout to you what we need and what it looks like."
He'll pull his notepad thingy back out and get ready to interface with it. And as you go in, you'll notice that while it's obvious that this part of the ship definitely took damage on its descent, landing, what have you, the engines themselves, while you're no engineer, they appear to be relatively not well kept, in decent shape, all things considered. Like, you can see where parts of this compartment that the engines sit inside, maybe buckled in a little bit, but the engines themselves seem as though it may not hurt to try to turn them on if you could first guarantee that they were going to turn on. If that makes any sense, the way I explained it.
Yeah, no, and I'll take that information and then I'll go over the what do you call it?
I mean, short of, I'll put it like this: short of an engineer doing a full inspection on it, it appears as though this engine might kick over.
Yeah,
and
so
work
I'll
correctly.
put that. Yeah, I'll put that out over the radio comms to Wiggle or to
Yes.
Wyatt and say, hey, yeah, we have this. Looks like one of the engines is good for the VTOL. You'll need to come over and check it over. It's on the such and such passageway, and I'm assuming that there's some sort of marker on the where it is, and say, it's located here. Access hatch is located here, and at that point, I'm just gonna look around and say, tell Dr. Grimaldi we're gonna keep going, and I'm just gonna keep pushing up this
Side there. Okay.
Yeah, up the side there. Yeah.
All right, let's take it back to Milligan and Wyatt. Milligan and Wyatt, what is your next area/move?
We didn't check the galley yet, right?
Correct.
So Wyatt can open that door and take a peek in there.
I will
And
do so.
Okay.
right.
I think in the galley you end up with the same sort of situation as you did in the med bay, where it does look like maybe some things were rifled through, or maybe things, contents will shift while in flight. It's a bit of a mess in here outside of the normal muck and ice buildup. But again, food is arguably quite expired, not necessarily spoiled, but it's certainly contaminated with, whatever atmospheric or soil-based contaminants there might be. It's a mess in here, in the galley there.
Other than that, I just want to.
What was that, Wiggles?
It's a mess in the mess.
Yes, it is a mess in the mess. Yes. Okay, Dr. Seuss, calm the fuck down.
Other than that, I'm just gonna make my way down through the bunk room here.
Yeah.
Trying to shine my light under beds and whatnot. Really not stopping per se. I'm not gonna be pulling sheets back or going through foot lockers or anything else like that. I'm mainly looking for deceased people. I think it's kind of weird we haven't seen any yet, but and I'll just go as far as I can go before you need to switch it over.
Yep. I think ultimately it's kind of a repetition here.
Yep.
It's all a mess. There are probably some, foot lockers, wall lockers, things of that nature, as well as these bunks. Obviously, some of them may have been looked through. There's probably one that's been busted up. Everything looks out of place. Like, when something's supposed to be in a specific spot and you come back later and it's been moved several inches in one direction and maybe canted on a certain axis. You get a lot of that because of, again, the jarring crash landing. But yeah, again, everything icy, dirty, muddy, mucky, frozen, and out of place, but no bodies. So far. That you can tell.
I wonder how many. I mean, we don't know any details like crew complement or whatever for this particular class of ship, do we?
I mean, it's based on the Aconit, so.
And they've got a freaking bunk room, so I mean, they had some.
Yeah.
We can count beds to get a rough estimate.
Well,
Right.
you also I feel like the Aconit class frigate is, because it's older. Even if you Googled U.S. Navy strategic ballistic missile submarine, you could still get a rough number for a crew complement. You know what I mean? There's some awful lot of information that is public knowledge or public access, if not necessarily, more generalized than the actual specifics. And of course, this ship is based on the Aconit, so you can, theoretically 2300 Google it. Didn't we call it Toogle or some dumb shit like that at some point?
Maybe.
Link it up.
Yeah, the Aconit's in one of the books somewhere.
It is. It's in ships and vehicles, or vehicles and ships, or whatever it is. But yeah, basically the end state here, of course, is this whole area 6, and of course where you're standing right now, I'm pretty sure that's the restroom and showers or what have you. At least that's what it looks like.
I just can't
toiletries.
tell. That's open there into that hallway, right?
Uh,
There's not a door there. That's
that's
a red
I'm assuming right where I dropped that. I'm assuming that is that's a hatch in the floor. Well,
in the
ceiling more
ceiling.
likely.
Yeah,
And then I imagine there's probably a ladder or maybe a drop down ladder.
yeah. But in
But yeah,
between me and it's open. Yeah.
yeah, it looks like it's
Okay.
open. Obviously the toilet areas would be privatized, not privatized, uh, isolated.
Pay me to take the shitter.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You thought I was bad to pay for a GM, and now you got to
Right.
pay to drop a shit.
You got to pay for a BM.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can proceed as far as up to here or here, and of course you see this wall right here.
I'll head this way.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
Hang on. It's hard
Use
for
the
me to
shadow.
find.
Use the shadow of your figure to mark where it's gonna land.
There we go. Good
Yeah,
job.
and then we'll
Thank you.
bring
Wyatt.
Wyatt to at least here, so you can figure out what
He's
he
not-
wants to do.
He's not eating anything, is he? He didn't get something out of there to test it, did he?
He might have.
I am not cracking open my suit.
No matter how good that chocolate pudding tub looks.
There's probably some of those things with a little straw, pass through thing. You can hook it to the outside of your helmet and just
Yeah,
suck
you
it
probably
in.
do. Probably do. All right,
It
back
made it chunky.
back to Hellwig and Dr. Grimaldi. What is your next move? You've got a few doors around you. I feel like other than maybe hearing some exterior wind sounds, you probably could hear each other because it would probably be pretty damn quiet inside. Not to mention, of course,
Right.
your radio comms anyways.
Right. So I'm gonna push through to 9
Okay.
with Grimaldi and realize that
At first he fell over and he can't stand up
Yeah.
for some reason.
yeah, he can't stand up for any reason.
Yeah,
that
well,
I
he
see
failed
Milligan,
he failed his dex roll for a minute there, going through that doorway.
yeah, basically, I'm gonna realize I see Milligan, back this way because I assume this door is open. I'm gonna sweep this and then go around the rest of the outside unless you've already done it.
No, we haven't been down the
And-
other perimeter yet.
Okay,
Alright,
so I'll push.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna do let me find my character sheet.
That is so weird that this room has 2 doors right next to each other like that, considering the name of this room.
Right. I am going to do a. Do I have? Too many games, not enough skill sets to remember.
Are you looking for something like investigation?
I'm
or
gonna do a
recon?
recon. I'm gonna do a recon. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right. No, I'm
What
gonna
are
do
you?
investigation.
All right. What are
I'm
you
just gonna
looking
go
for?
look. All right. Just to kind of get an idea of what all the I guess what all the what's all in there, and if there's anything valuable to salvage.
Okay, so you're doing the D&D equivalent of search instead of spot.
Yeah.
That was a bad joke.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me. All right.
Right.
Yeah, so just a standard 8+. What are your modifiers for your investigation plus intelligence?
I got a 2 and an intelligence is a 1, so it's a +3 total for my.
Don't roll a 4 or less.
And an 8 with a 3 is 11.
So it's 11. You got an effective 3. All right, so this is what you come across as you enter L'armory. Let me get to the notes for that, because that is specifically listed. So this large room contains the weapons contained, past tense, the weapons and equipments of the security troops stationed on the ship. While it normally contained a couple of combat walkers at the moment, there is only one badly damaged, having come loose in the crash. Of the second, there is no indication as to where it may have been or where it may have gone. You see a number of weapons racks and what looks like locations for ammunitions, ammo crates, boxes, etc. I imagine you're going to take something of a thorough search and see what exactly is indeed in here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if I see the walker, I mean, the first thing I'm gonna mention and document is that even though it's damaged, that there's this walker here. So
yeah, it's badly damaged. Like I don't know how to explain or describe it because it tells me it's a BH-19. I don't know what that looks like. and I don't know if that upgraded or updated or changed or whatever from version 1 to version 2 of Mongoose Traveler 2300. But
Right.
it's a BH-19 combat walker. But regardless, it looks like if you sneezed on it twice, it might very well disintegrate, like its major components falling off, arms coming off, legs coming off, the torso just cracking
So
open like an egg. Good.
So it's just basically like the car guy equivalent of a project car that's been barn fined.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna need a lot of work in order to get it back anywhere close to fighting trim. But you do find the racks look like they could have held 20 FAA 73 assault rifles, but there are 12 not there. So basically, there's 8 assault rifles. There are 18 pump action shotguns. Excuse me. There are 20 God damn it, 20 10mm submachine guns and 12 10mm pistols. And I know I ran through that really fast, but effectively it looks like there's a number of weapons missing, but there's also still considerable amount of firepower here. Additionally, there is what appears to be location stashing or what have you for about 500 rounds of ammunition for each weapon, as well as 10 magazines for each weapon. There's also an assortment of gun cleaning kits, load-bearing harnesses, bags, and holsters, enough to basically outfit roughly 40 people, it looks like. And then there are some additional cases that hold hand grenades, and there are 3 of them, 1 case of flashbangs, 1 case of smoke, and 1 of fragment. The fragmenting grenades actually look a little bit different than normal. It requires the use of pulling 2 safety pins instead of the usual 1. I'm not going to read the rest of it until you decide to use it.
How many?
Okay.
As well as that, as well as all the firepower and weapons and whatnot, there are what looks like room for 20 sets of vacuum combat armor, but there are only 8 in here at the moment. And the armored backpack required for them, which I guess it would be probably like your power supply or what have you. And then,
Okay.
And you'll also notice that all of these weapons that you're looking at are modified for use in those vacuum combat armor suits. So like these are intended to be used while armored up in these somewhat clunky back suits.
Gotcha. So I'll mention that to everyone and say, hey, this may not be even though we can't get the ship right away, this may not be a bad scene because there's at least weapons we could potentially salvage and sell. And I'm gonna start looking at the doctor and just say, 1 or 2, and then we're gonna take him back to the vehicle. Don't touch the explosive eggs. I'll handle those.
I think Grimaldi, when you say that to him, he's over there. You see him. He's kind of brushing on the shoulder of one of the vac suits. So he's like cleaning off the ice and gunk, and you can see as he works at it, and it takes a minute or so to get through it all. You could see that there is that same patch that was given to Milligan last time you guys were here by the Pentapod. It is indeed the ship patch, insignia or whatever you want to call it. And he says, at the very least, we should take at least one of these suits back with us so we can prove that we were here, or obviously any other documentation we find here indicating that we did indeed find the Durandal. We need to take it with us. Otherwise, they may not validate our claim to this salvage. And that's obviously very important, he says.
I'm on. Okay, if that's what you want to do, we can do that. I'm totally on board with that.
This is over comms, right?
Yeah, I imagine you guys have like an open network or something.
Right. So I just speak up and say, yeah, those suits are probably worth the most out of everything that's in there.
What? Yeah, no, they're probably like 30, 40 grand a piece.
Well, they may be like 8
depending
or
on-
so, but it depends on how heavily armored they are.
if they're combat mech suits, then they're pricey. It depends
Well, gentlemen, more
how much.
importantly, Grimaldi's trying to cut in. I as the GM don't want to step on you guys too much, but Grimaldi's trying to cut in on you guys a little bit here. But please talk
Right.
over him if you feel the need. He is just a civilian after all. God damn, I really
I'm
wish
just
I
looking
wasn't
at-
always this easily amused.
I'm looking at the combat suits of like they're free combat suits. Those are expensive out in town. I'm all on board with
Keeping them.
yeah.
I think for a brief moment, Grimaldi gets that look in his eye of, I might never wear one, but it'd be really cool to have one sitting on a coat rack in my classroom, and I could just lean on it while you hear he's talking, but it's like he's mumbling, so he's not speaking to you, he's just talking or thinking out loud. And then he catches himself, he's like, listen, it's our salvage. We can do whatever we want with it. But my point is that we need to at least take one of these back with us when we leave here, as well as any other documentation or proof that we were here and proof that this is our salvage. Otherwise the French or whomever may just be like, no, that's not your salvage. That's our stuff. Thanks for finding it.
And I'll look at the doctor and go, you're totally right legally, and actually, and I'll mention the case law of finders versus keepers, and
I gotta remember that line. The case law of finders versus keepers.
yeah.
That's such a good one, man.
The French are welcome to claim rights to it all they want, but they can't find it. Fuck them, Like they don't have rights to our flight logs.
Oh, and that's what finders versus keepers boiled down to. They can't find it, we get to keep it. No, but seriously though, I'll mention that hey, it looks like there's enough stuff for everyone to kind of have something, and it makes sense that we do need to validate that the salvage. So I'll bring up that we need to for sure bring some of this stuff back. But kind of going through Hellwig's mind is the cash flow from getting some of this stuff and be able to resell it or at least donate it to Tankerson after a effective cut of,
Are you trying to bribe your boss? Actually, you know what?
No.
Fuck, I think that was clearly me saying that, but I'm wondering if Grimaldi would have brought that up.
No, I'm not trying to bribe him. All I'm saying is I'm sure he needs this type of equipment. It's going to cost him. We just get able to offer it at wholesale prices versus retail.
Versus the retail where we get a bigger cut ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
How many grenades?
Fighting this stuff is probably how he gets ROI on our, because he did pay for the fuel and everything for this, venture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I don't need a suit. I have the BMW suits. I'm good.
BMW suits. He does, but damn. Thurgor, you were trying to ask a question?
Yep. How many grenades are in a case?
That's a great question. I'm gonna, in lieu of other information, because it doesn't specifically state that, I'm gonna go with that there are 12 of each grenade type in each case. So you have 12 flashbangs, 12 smoke, and 12 fragmenting. But these, again, I want to point out, these fragmentation grenades are different than what you're used to. If you were to open up, or even just looking at the case, you'll know that the nomenclature inscribed on the case is a different type of grenade than your standard pull pin, go boom type of grenade. But I'm not going to tell you the specifics until you decide to use one.
We'll do some research before we start pulling pins.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. This is grenade. In fact, I think like the little silhouette icon that you're used to on the sides of cases that have the cases of grenades that you might find through the military or whatever, normally would have the little key ring pin pull. This one actually has in its icon 2 of them virtually side by side.
All right. So the suits are good. We could definitely start pulling those in. I think our next goal should be to find the black box or find the ship's hard drives and pull those.
Is this vault one of those like super secure things that some I don't know, cargo haulers or whatever have, with like the keypad lock that can only be unlocked at the other end, or
Are
any of that
you
kind of
trying
stuff?
to go into the actual Area 10 vault right there?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm able to, I'm gonna start skirting around this thing because it's obviously
Well, you don't have
different.
to go that way. You can. Oh, you're already over
Okay.
here, so
I'm right
you
here
get the
anyway.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's finalize what we're going to do with
Yeah.
the
Okay.
guns and ammo and grenades and spacesuits that we found in Area 9 first. Grimaldi is not looking at going back to the Grendelborn just yet. He's just making note that at the very least something needs to come back to prove that they were here, and that not only that you guys were here, but this was in fact the Durandal.
No, we're gonna put all that on the Grindelborn.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
I think
no,
it's safe to say
I'm
you can
gonna-
get all those
Yeah.
weapons on the Grendelborn. Maybe not necessarily in the racks, but you can get all those weapons, ammo, and
Yeah.
grenades and suits. You
Yep.
know, stash them in the box somewhere on the Grendelborn.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I'll start trying to figure out, and I look at the doctor and I basically say, yeah, you're totally right. That we need to bring something back to prove that we are the ones that found this thing and salvage it properly, and so we don't get cut out of any good money deals here. But I'm also on
I'm laughing.
on
Not
board
Grimaldi.
with, yeah. I'm also starting to try to figure out how to best get that stuff out of here, so that way I can we can easily transport it upstairs to the Grendel. And
I think actually,
so
right when you say that, Charles, Grimaldi starts to try to snap his fingers, and then realizes that he's got these big kind of clunky gloves on, and he can't snap his fingers, right? But his hand
Right.
does that same motion, and he's like, "I can't snap my fingers." And he says, "No, actually, that's a great idea. We could take it up to the bridge. We've got rope. We'll just lower the cases down through the bridge windows that are smashed out, and then we can move them up to the Grendelborn. It'll make it a hell of a lot easier to get them off the ship than trying to squeeze them through the missile bay or that little ass airlock." I
Yeah,
imagine
I-
that airlock is just wide enough, by the way, for one person in your bulky suits to get through. That you could probably get these crates through without too much problem, but you got to kind of, you got to turn sideways, walk sideways on this slippery bullshit. Whereas if you can hoist it, it might take some manual labor, but if you hoist it up to the bridge and then kind of just drop them out the front window, literally, you can then trudge them up to the Grendelborn.
Oh yeah, no, and that makes perfect sense. And so I'll start trying to sit there and do the math and start kind of doing the math on, well, if I take it this way and if I can carry 4 and looks like he can probably carry 3 and
Yeah.
all that.
It's just like back in the Army when I carried 10 M16s wrapped on my shoulders.
Yep.
Along with a
Exactly.
9 mil in my pocket because I was supposed to pretend I was carrying live ammo because I was carrying more than 10 weapons at a time.
Right. Yeah, all that fun stuff. So I'll turn around and go through that, and I don't know from there. It'd be just, I guess, thinking about it and what I need to do next, and like I said, just hanging out there and just kind of doing that math.
Grimaldi's gonna sit there with you, and he's got his tablet. He's making a kind of a detailed list. He's asking you questions every now and again about what exactly is he looking at.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what we're doing. Is we're basically going, okay,
Inventory.
it's this weapon, this serial number, this suit, this serial number, if we can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the condition and all that other fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that will give Wyatt and Milligan, let's say, plenty of time to dig into Area 10. I imagine that's where you guys want to go next.
Yep.
Yeah, let's crack this egg open.
All right. So the first thing you'll notice is that this large room, I'm sorry, wrong paragraph. This area is actually open. Once you get through that main doorway there, this area is actually open. There are anchor points in the floor to what looks like their purpose is to securely constrain heavy cargo and cargo shipping containers and things of that nature. There are 22 small crates stacked up along this area, but there's nothing that specifically indicates what is inside those crates. There is sufficient space in here to hold all these packing cases, although it does look like... hold on. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Let me reread this, because now I'm missing stuff up. Okay, yeah. There are the 22 crates. There is space for those crates as well as more that can be stashed in here. And there is evidence of what appears to be cargo nets, or what were once cargo nets that have been cut. Towards the rear of the vault, I should have probably had you guys roll for this, but fuck it, whatever. Towards the rear of the vault, where the armored doors would be, so that would be
I know what it is.
this area here. Where the armored doors would be is a mass of what looks like frozen mud. And you can see that the armored door is actually somewhat off its hinges and buckled from the crash. If you want to dig in it some more, you're going to need to make a roll, though. Which is also code for the GM saying there's more information here if you pass the roll.
Let's explore these crates first. What these crates? They got labels on them.
They are not marked.
So the people who were terrible at bookkeeping.
No, they just didn't want people to know at first glance what was inside them.
Well, yeah, that's why you use like a code phrase or something like that. Like alpha,
like
numeric,
tangerines.
That's right. Purple pineapples.
Right. Purple pineapple.
Look. This is like the reason. Like we have code words already, like karaoke and stuff like that. So, we're more advanced in the crew of the Darendal. That's what I'm reading.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Sure. I'll take my crowbar and let's hope it's not perishable and crack one open.
Inside this crate is what appears to be effectively a missile body. And so obviously this is a fairly decent sized missile body, or crate. A few feet long on one side and a foot or two across on the other. So this is a missile, missing the warhead, but judging by how the missile sits inside the crate, it's intended that the warhead is shipped separately. But you do notice that once
they get you.
What's that?
Right, you buy the missile body,
and then you pay for the...
Would you like some add-ons? We got some rocket motors. We got some warheads.
Yeah.
Some stabilizing things.
As you take a look at the missile body itself, this is when you actually start to see nomenclature, serial numbers, and things of that nature. And you realize that what you're looking at is a stutter warp capable missile.
Ha!
Is the drive intact?
I mean, other than the fact that it's not exploding radioactively in your face, it appears to be, yes.
I mean, it's there. This isn't just like a hollow,
Yeah. This is, like, you could tell because maybe you try to pick it up a little bit or you nudge it a little bit to see how it responds. Because, there's a difference between an aluminum tube and a solid chunk of metal.
Yeah.
This appears to be, like, legit. This is the stutter. This is the missile. All it's missing is the warhead in order to make this an actual weapon.
Ah, okay. So are these are French?
Yes.
Are these Ritage missiles or?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes, because I believe in the lore we've established that it was the Ritage missiles that this ship was carrying at one point.
Oh, okay.
Because they were trying. I mean, if you remember right, I want to say it was the Ritage 1 that didn't have enough punch, and so they were trying to get Ritage 2 while they were waiting for sufficient numbers of the Ritage 3 to come up to the front, or something along those lines. So this looks like this was that interim missile. Slightly better than the first, but not as good as the third.
Yeah. I didn't even know there was a third.
So my next question is,
whatever the case might be.
Is this weird? Or is this like weird ammunition, or is this pretty standard to have stutter warp capable missiles? Or
yes,
yeah, you need them. You need them because with ships moving at stutter warp speeds, mind you, stutter warp speeds slower than light, you need missiles because otherwise it would take them weeks to get to where the ship is no longer.
Okay. Cool.
So,
So
yeah.
that's just my ignorance of the lore.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I didn't mean that to sound condescending if it came out that way. It was...
No. I just wasn't sure whether or not we stumbled across something like cool or something like that.
Yeah,
No,
no,
like
this
somebody
is
stumbled
this is
across
pretty
something
straightforward tech from
ordinarily
like
deadly.
15 years ago. Or 10 years, 10, 12 years ago.
All right. Hey, I don't know how to make sure these munitions are safe to travel. Does anyone know how to make sure these munitions are safe to travel?
I say they
Grimaldi
are
is
safe to
just
travel.
Grimaldi's gonna start speaking and then stop because Milligan said something.
I said these are safe. These is as safe as you can get right here because they don't have warheads.
Are you sure they don't have warheads? I mean, I can see there's a place for warheads, but I don't know whether.
I mean, hopefully somewhere around here there's warheads. But
did any of your characters serve in a military organization? I don't think so. No, because you served in the Navy, Milligan.
Yeah, I was Space Navy. Yeah.
Yeah, so you would kind of know, like you. I don't. You were a straight flight crew, navigation pilot, whatever. But I feel like your naval training and experience, as limited as it may actually be, you would know that one, these missiles, as you said, this is probably about as safe as you can get, short of wrapping them in 2,300 duct tape and bubble wrap. But more importantly, because the actual explosive material is not shipped with what appears to otherwise be the delivering process. These are almost useless, really. Outside of the fact that they can move really, really fast, there's just no guidance, no in-flight corrections, and certainly no boom.
Yeah, and so here's something about that. If these things have a warhead, then they're Rataj 2s and not 1s. Rataj 1s were battery based, and it was like a 5-shot limited missile. And so you could fly the missile out, shoot your 5 shots, and fly your missile back.
Oh, okay.
The Rataj 2 it still had that feature, but it added a detonation laser for the big punch that you were talking about. Okay. So if these things take a warhead, then they're probably actually Rataj 2s.
That's probably more accurate. Like I said, I couldn't remember exactly how it went, and I know it's explained even in the PDF that I'm referencing for a lot of this right now, like literally right now. But I didn't bother to go that far with what it is. I do know is that in this particular area, you have the missile bodies. The warheads are not. Currently, their current location to you is unknown. Currently,
I just know that even as it is right now, it's worth a considerable amount.
Yeah.
I would say even without the warhead, it's worth easy probably 600K and maybe as much as 800 to $1 million. I don't know.
Grimaldi keys up on the mic and he's like, I mean, listen, in my imagination, I imagine we could put this stuff, we could sell those to some ne'er-do-wells and they could strap just a simple grenade on there, and now you have something that is more than just a slight nuisance.
All right,
got
cool.
A stutter warp delivered explosive.
That sounds dangerous. And I'll look at him after he says that and go, ne'er-do-wells?
I'm a professor doctorate at a university on one of the better planets in the French arm. I am not a warmonger, sir. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think you get the gist of where I was going with that.
I do get the gist. I just am. It's the more along the ideas that he would bring it up,
or use the word ne'er-do-well.
Well, like are you willing to trade to the terrorists? Do you want to enable the terrorists?
Do you want to enable the terrorists? Because this is how you enable the terrorists.
Yes, exactly.
I think the
Do you want me to put a round in your forehead?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The positive we take away from this is since he says we can't sell the ne'er-do-wells, he doesn't think we are.
By that description, that you guys must be the good guys.
Right, yeah, exactly. He decided the ne'er-do-wells was an outside group, which means that it's not us.
Right, yeah. No, your logic stands.
Yeah,
what are we doing? What are we doing next here, gentlemen?
The other thing I want to remind the GM is the fact is, like, when we spotted that ship on our scanners and respond to hails, I immediately contacted Space Traffic Control
Yes, you
and
did.
and tattled on them and asked them to send a patrol craft towards us.
Yes.
When
I
happened,
I don't recall exactly what I said, but I feel like the patrol craft.
you said they're going to send like 10,000 ships for us, and they're going to
I
have lots
did
of.
not say
No.
10,000 ships.
No,
I did-
you don't remember, sir. Sir, you don't remember.
Okay. You know what? Any other time you might have been able to pull off that, sir, you don't remember shit. I don't remember specifically what I said, but I know for a fact I did not say, yeah, sure, we got 10,000 ships just chilling out and need something to do. We'll send them your way. Give them like 2 hours.
We're gonna mobilize the fleet.
Yeah. That's a hell of a fleet, by the way. 10,000 ships? Jesus Christ.
Look, I thought it was ostentatious when you said it, but I'm willing to go with it. 'cause
I
I'm
mean, who
gonna
am I to argue with the GM? It's his show.
get-
So as far as the vault goes,
Yeah.
there's the 22 crates,
Yes.
but that's it in here, other than the mud.
Yeah, so you've got the crates that you popped one of them open. The other ones appear to be still sealed unless you want to take a further look at them. But yeah, otherwise you have... Hold on, give me 1 second here. You
Sure.
have the big armored doors to the bottom of the map that appear to be somewhat off their hinges and are buckled from the crash, and there is a pile of what looks like frozen mud and shit. Not literally shit, but just frozen mud and shit.
Okay. I mean, I don't think I particularly have anything to dig with. I'll yell to Hellwig and ask if he still has his shovel or e-tool or whatever it was he was using.
I'll
have to
mention that.
Yeah, do we have to fab a shovel?
I mean, you guys had shovels from the Grendelborn that you used, to clear up rock slides or whatever, and then also to get in through the airlock. So you guys have digging apparatus,
All right.
especially of the
Okay.
handheld
Yeah.
variety.
So I'm going to go
Yeah,
collect one of those, and I'll muck around in the muck for a minute. And how deep? Is it like
It's a
8
pretty
inches deep? Is it
substantial,
like 4 feet deep?
yeah, it's let's just say for the sake of argument, it's at least a foot deep, or
Okay.
like something to that effect. But I do need you to make an observation. Not observation, recon.
Recon.
Yeah, I've been listening to
Yeah.
Alien RPG, and it's observation roll in that game.
Boom.
Oh God, yeah, this is not mud.
+2.
The moment you stab it with your steely shovel, it immediately does not respond as frozen mud would. It's not a live poop, okay? It's frozen alive poop. This is not mud at all. It's much thicker, goopier. It's artificial is the only way that you can think of describing or explaining it to anybody else.
People. It's made of people.
It's not Soylent Green. Artificial,
So-
like poop. By the way, I want to point this out. I'm going to make a GM call here. So this area here is where
blocked.
all of this mud and crumpled doors are, just for clarity's sake. So when you attempt, like you originally wanted to come down like
Right,
through here,
yeah.
or actually Hellwig did too. So
Yeah.
that you weren't, it was blocked initially, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not fucking with that, and you went around. That's how you ended up going into the vault.
Okay.
You guys are still, Hellwig and Grimaldi, you guys are still in here inventorying because you're actually
Right.
recording. Yes, thank you. There you go. That works. Drop another one, like, right here. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So yeah,
For
you
some reason-
notice... Go ahead.
I can't like adjust the scale for some reason. That's the smallest it can be on this thing.
That's fine. It works. It serves its purpose. But yeah, Milligan, when you, like I said, as soon as you set your shovel into this goop, it is not mud. It is not frozen, icy mud like you thought. It reacts completely differently, much more like an artificial resin-ish. And not like, you know how resin will solidify almost concrete, like, after it cools and dries or what have you, but so it's kind of spongy, but it takes a lot of work to actually get that sponginess. I can't explain. I don't know what the right word is here, but I think you get the idea. It's definitely not mud. It's definitely artificial, it would seem like.
Okay, so
the
I'm
first
gonna.
thing that popped to mind is this is the pentapod? Is this a dead pentapod?
I'm trying to think if you would have any kind of skill that would allow you to determine that.
Medic.
Sure, roll a medic.
Well, I don't know if I have it, but no, I don't.
Unless you got another way to determine if it's pentapod-based DNA material.
All right, I'm gonna make some toast. I'm gonna get a butter knife, and I'm gonna spread some on toast.
Oh,
That's
why?
I'm not.
Why?
I'm not even sure if that's. What are you, a space marine, and you're gonna eat it now and try to learn something from it that way? That's the only way I know of.
Oh,
All right, moving on.
oh.
Milligan, you've tried to dig into this stuff, and as I mentioned, it does not respond as you would expect, mud or even dirt. And it definitely gives you the impression that it was placed here as opposed to byproduct of a ship crashing into a muddy,
Right.
frozen world. What would you like to do? What would you and Wyatt like to do?
Dump it back, shake the shovel real good, and then take it immediately back to somebody else.
The Ghostbusters reference. Egon, you're mucus. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, do we have any like sample containers that are sealed on board Grindelborn that we can just
You know,
It has a lab.
yeah,
It
it
has a
does have a
lab on it.
lab, and I feel like it would have you would have some sort of container system, some way to store a sample of dirt or something, even if it was just
Okay.
a really good Tupperware,
We
Yeah,
can
so-
call Jackie on the radio.
and have her
And
bring one over.
Well, we could tell her we found something that might be biologic. If she wants to come get a sample, it's really just goop, is what I say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you try to raise her on the radio a couple of times, and then you hear kind of like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry, I forgot how to like push the button." I know that sounds ridiculous, by the way. As the GM, I'm gonna say that I know it sounds ridiculous, but imagine someone who's only ever lived in a school as a teacher, and you expect them to know how to work radio equipment. Like, she's been listening to all this whole time, and she's never once had anything to say until you actually called her out. So it like stunned her, and then she's like, "Fuck! How do I do the? Where's the button for the mic? Oh yeah, it's this one here." And so she comes back with, "I'm sorry, I got so flustered trying to figure out how to turn this mic on. What did you want?"
And I
we found
repeat,
shit poop.
yeah,
Shit
we found something that appears to be biologic.
That's what I was gonna
And
say.
you know,
You're gonna
Yeah.
say shit.
being on an alien
She's-
world, and you're the specialist in that, we thought maybe you might want
I
to come and get a
am a
sample.
xenoanthropologist, not necessarily a xenobiologist. However,
I think it might be
I-
a dead pentapod.
I dug it up with a shovel.
I don't know if I.
Does that make it
Okay, I'll
archaeology?
be there. Give me a moment. I gotta put my suit back on, and
Yeah. We
you
got like
know,
ropes to have you rappel down here. I'll meet you at the missile airlock.
do you want her to meet you at the missile bay where you came in, or you want her to meet you at the airlock where Hellwig?
Wherever my rappelling ropes are.
Okay, so they're gonna be somewhere
The
in
missile
here.
bay.
Yeah, somewhere in there. All right, so she will agree, acquiesce, whatever, and eventually make her way down. And she's got a small knapsack or something, and inside she's got a couple of containers. You can probably guess based on what you see that that's what it is. So
Anyway, so I talked to her.
she's
Anyway,
so much taller than you guys.
well, because she's a strong woman and she's like 6'10",
No,
and that's
I
okay.
feel like I
Are
must
you
have.
intimidated by large women?
No, I just wanted all my figurines to be about the same size, and some of them are not. Please
Oh,
continue.
she's heroic scale.
She's the rogue scale. Does she have a purple bar instead of a blue bar?
Basically. For those that play
And
minis, they'll get that joke.
So I get her attached to the rappel line with with like the carabiners and whatnot. And I go, okay. So anyway, the ship's a little bit slippery, but the rope should help her destabilize.
Yeah, I see that. And she almost immediately slips, but she catches herself
Yeah.
because she's roped in.
The floor.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's gross. The floor seems pretty stable, so I don't think we're in danger of falling through. So just keep a hole in the line. You'll have to switch out every time we come across the support strut. Anyway, it's back at the ship at the vault.
Yep, and she definitely makes her way on down. And I'm playing with this like I'm a 3-year-old at this point. But I'm surprised I'm not doing the picking them up, counting the squares thing.
Oh, now I can't remember what that command is. Oh, god darn it, that's gonna drive me up the wall. There's a command to actually make them doot, and I don't remember what it is.
Oh wow, I didn't know that was a thing. All right, so yeah, she'll come up here. You know what? Because you're giving me shit for her being heroic scale, let me size her up. Okay, yeah, she'll come up and she'll do the whole. Oh my god, what is this? What? Ew! I'm so glad I have gloves on. And then she'll grab like she's got like a. I don't necessarily. I'm not gonna say. You know what? She wouldn't have brought like glass vials. So she's probably got like a something more Rubbermaid Tupperware sort of deal. And she'll put, she'll grab like a little dowel or shovel sort of thing, and kind of scoop a couple bits in there. And she's just like, yeah, this is nasty. I'm so glad. Oh god, I don't even want to know what this smells like.
It's probably bad.
It probably is. At least it's cold, so, usually things don't smell as bad cold as they do when they're, I don't know, room temperature. And she'd be like, okay, do you guys need me for anything else?
That's so gross. I don't know. Do you know what the slime is over the ship? It's just something that's just from the planet.
Are you talking about, like, the frozen mud and muck and whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else looks like it's just regular mud, she says.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no. All right. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Is there anything else I need to take back to the Grendelborn? I've got
I don't know.
a free hand, I suppose.
Give a case of grenades.
Take a case of grenades or a starter warp missile body.
You want to take a look at the mid base, see if you can get a copy of any physical records or the hard drive for the ship's medical records.
She will happily go digging around in the med bay, although she's not an actual doctor. She will take a look around, but after a few minutes, you'll hear her call back, and she'll be like, yeah, there's just nothing really good useful in here. All this medication is probably bad or expired, or I wouldn't roll those dice. Unless you guys need something else, I'm just gonna head back to the Grendelborn and see if I can't figure out what this gunk is.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Maybe I'm being overly cautious, but don't examine on the Grindelborn unless you're really sure of the environmental separation.
Yes, I remember that book, Space Beast. Yes, I hear you. Space Beast, by the way, is a book from the Alien RPG universe that was published right after the lead mine, Alien 3. Anyway, I'm totally off track. Yeah, she's like, yeah, no, I got you. Contamination and purity of air, etc.
I trust your expertise. I'm asking you to double check before you open it up.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I really want to, just because I feel like I might contaminate the sample, and I'm not a lab scientist. I'm more of a, research scientist.
Yeah. We're working with the tools we have.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna make a Dr. McCoy reference here. I'm a xenoanthropologist, not a medical researcher examiner.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, we're just working with the tools we have, not with the tools we want.
Yeah, exactly. And she gradually makes her way back, which will now take it back to Helwig and Dr. Grimaldi. In your quest for serial numbers of all sorts, what would you guys like to do next?
So we're gonna turn around and I think we're gonna get done. I assume that the time period that this is all happening, we're gonna kind of finish up. I'm gonna look at the doctor and say, well, we can go out this door. See if we can go out this door, and then maybe notice that there's
a bunch of shit on the other side of it.
Yeah, and then just go, what do you know about this?
That's not the dirt from around here, at least. Maybe somewhere else on the planet? I don't know. That doesn't even look like frozen dirt. What is that? He kind of pokes it with his boot, and he's like, oh no. Nope, let's go back. No, that's enough. That's enough weird shit. Listen, those screaming football spaghetti things was bad enough. This is weird. This is really weird. No.
Screaming football spaghetti
The capture gun.
thing?
The capture guns.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah.
Which at this point would have been roughly the equivalent of yesterday, never mind the daylight changing or lack
Right.
of.
Yeah. So I'll go. Okay. Cool. I'm still.
I love how that cool just sounded like, yep, nope, not touching that one. We're just gonna move on
Exactly. And we're walking here, folks.
now. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. There is a
uh,
lift where Milligan is standing that will take you up to the next level, unless you wanted to do a repeat of those things there. I mean,
no, nope. I'm gonna, come out and mention that we need to at least move some of these, and start moving them up to this side here, and go kind of take them back up to where these guys are. So we'll both come back up here, and then mention, with a couple suits for us, and maybe a case of the hand grenades, and say there's at least still stuff we can salvage here, and we should probably just start trying to take it out as fast as we can.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah, no, we're going to explore the bridge area.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the next one thing we can do is try to get the black box or try to get the hard drives.
Nope. Investigation. Go ahead. Have fun with that. We're gonna.
if I'm reading this map right, it looks like this hatch leads to here.
Yep, I think so too.
That's what it feels like. The only other option would be to lead to here, which might actually be a little bit more in line with the back end of this side versus the back end of this side. So yeah, let's go with here. Let's go with there.
That lift goes up, not down. It says that it's an upper airlock or
so
escape hatch.
this right here goes to the top side of the ship, exterior.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Then it would go to here then.
Yep.
I know there's a couple of different images for the ceiling and floor hatches, but I'm not trying to look at them too hard because I might get a headache because they're not quite in focus.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just a vertical hole in the floor, right?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm a little bitch. I'm a little OSHA slut. So I'm gonna build like a shield.
A handrail. Would it hurt to put a handrail in here?
I'm gonna build a little shield type thing. I'm gonna like tack weld so that way when we slide down, we're not gonna slide down into the hole.
Okay. Oh yes. You won't ski ball your way from deck 1 to deck 2.
Yeah, no, I suspect that would suck.
I'm getting so many images in my head right now, rolling down this frozen mucky bullshit, and then clunking the back of your head as you go through the hole.
Yeah, no,
man.
I am respecting the dangers of the ship.
Yeah, no, I'm just amused by the images I get. Listen, guys, you should know by now how easily and stupidly easily I'm amused. Yeah. So yeah, you take some time to fabricate some sort of makeshift safety guideline, something that would make an OSHA manager proud, or at least make them smirk a little bit.
Yeah. So and then I'll spend 20-30 minutes doing that.
Okay. All right. Let me take a quick look in the book to see what specifically it says for this area of the ship.
It's got a sidebar for OSHA sluts.
Oh,
it's funny you bring that up.
And
there's his brother in the background. Okay.
That's gonna be an audit.
Yeah. Crew lounge.
Things you can't say to your ocean.
You are in areas 5 and 7, which are, well, 5 is the head, so 7 is crew quarters, and I don't have anything specific for the crew quarters. So essentially, again, no bodies in this area that you can see. I mean, you're kind of focused on putting together some sort of barricade system to keep people from slipping and sliding all over the place.
I'm gonna go ahead and move to the rear of the ship while he's doing that.
Define rear. Where are you going? Oh, you're over.
I'm right here. I
Yep,
moved me
my bad.
already.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I want to check out the engineering section and see what it looks like and everything.
Well, let me see what the book says. Somewhat irritatingly, there is no specific entries for the engineering area.
So it's all in perfect working condition.
No, it is not. I can tell you that right now. It is not. I will say this, though. As you're taking your time to look around inside Area 8, so let me go ahead and move you as you eventually make your way down to the various drives and whatnot. It looks like boring nerd shit. Yes, that's exactly what it is. It looks like boring nerd shit of an engineering flavor. Again, similar to when Helwig was looking at the VTOL engine, there is a lot of mess in here. A lot of it up at this point of this part of the ship looks to be more frost-based than muck and frozen shit. Generally speaking, the engines, the computer surfaces, the work areas, everything looks like it's actually in decent shape. There is some what appears to be, maybe some structural damage here and there. A handrail that got bent one way instead of being straight lined. Maybe one of the walls looks like it kind of got buckled in slightly. But there's nothing that catches your eye that tells you this is a danger if you were to lift this ship into space.
So, the ship was damaged so badly that it was forced to land. Where is that damage?
Not here.
Okay.
Again, I'm working with, I don't want to say minimal information, but when it comes to describing an area, I'm kind of similar or used to how D&D does it. And if you put numbers on a map, that means there should be corresponding areas in the text. And it does not give me a specific, this is what the engineering area looks like. It does for a couple other areas, but again, nothing specific for the engineering. And there is, the ship did receive damage, but maybe some of that damage was more of a, not necessarily structural or what have you, but, it needed to set down for repairs before continuing on, sort of deal. Let me take a quick look through the rest of it. And also, do keep in mind, you're on the second level, and it was the bottom level that got bashed up quite a bit on touchdown.
But I was worried, like, are the reaction drives okay?
I mean, the biggest thing is, like, everything appears to be okay. There's obvious signs of wear and tear, some damages,
right,
but nothing, like, glaringly obvious as, fix me before you do anything else. Now, mind you, this is all in an unpowered state as well. So maybe once you turn it on, you'll notice that, I don't know, there's an intermix chamber that is out of tolerance. I have no idea. I'm making shit up to sound like Star Trek almost. But you wouldn't know that until you're able to power things up, which right now, you're not even sure where to begin.
I'm sure I do. I'm standing right at the MHD turbine.
I mean, beyond that,
I'm not gonna mess with that.
It's the engine, by the way. What you want to start up is the reactor. That gives power to the MHD. I'm not even sure if what I just said is entirely accurate, but again, I'm not an engineer, and
it with confidence.
What did you say?
But you said it with confidence.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
The ship subscription for Windows 11 expired, so the operating system was locked out. That's why they landed. They needed a secure internet connection to download the update.
Yeah, you couldn't do it on Wi-Fi. You had to get a landline.
It was too big, and the Wi-Fi was too intermittent. All right. So yeah, you're Milligan. You are down here for now, walking around, trying to figure things out, looking around, trying to take an assessment of the engineering section. That takes us back to Helwig and Dr. Grimaldi, and Grimaldi's like, we should probably get up to the bridge and start figuring out a way to get this stuff off the ship, whatever we're going to take with us.
Sounds like a plan, Doc. So I'm gonna.
Could while I'm doing my safety stuff, could I also make sure that there's like a fixture for like ropes sort of hoist stuff up with it?
Yes. I will have you make a quick roll, but it is only a 6+. Let's go with mechanics. 6+.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
But I'm sorry about it.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say sorry, but I'm not really sorry.
Man.
I'm going to assume that ends up being a 6 because you'll have like a +3 somewhere.
Yeah, my mechanics a 2 and my intelligence is a 1, so that's a 7 total.
Yep, which will end up being a 6 because there's a flat -1 because of lighting and whatnot. At any rate, yeah, no, you have like a basic pulley system set up where if you wrap the rope around whatever object you're trying to lift from deck 2 to deck 1 or 1 to 2, whatever it is, you can easily lift it up. And then you should be able to replicate that when you lower things from the blown out bridge windows. Back to Helwig and Grimaldi, and Grimaldi's reference of we should get to the bridge so we can try to figure out how to get the stuff off the ship.
I'm like, that sounds like a plan, Doc. So let's go figure that out. So I
Grimaldi
will,
is going to climb up and start making his way forward, but he's not going to go without you. So he'll go up first,
All right.
and then he'll kind of look back and be like, "You coming?" He doesn't say that. He just gives you that "you coming" look, even though he's wearing a spacesuit and you can't really see his face because of the light.
And I'm just gonna mutter and something and
mutter in something.
And just, yeah. Well, it's going to be like a mixed blend of because all I've been doing is translating a bunch of French, so it'll be a mixed blend of French, German, whatever.
Maybe a little bit of English because you don't even know which language to use right now.
Yeah, and just go. I'm coming, goodbye. Yeah, I'm a little runt and da 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 da, and I start climbing up the rope, and I'll follow him up to wherever we're at, and then and I'll say, I assume I see Mr. Wyatt there, and go.
Yeah, because Wyatt. Well, you're gonna end up here, and Wyatt's probably like here finishing up his task.
I didn't know you knew to speak some Zargon.
Oh my God! Don't listen to my laugh. I'm sorry.
I just look at him briefly, and I just keep muttering in German the frustrations of this, and just go. We need to go to the doctor wants to go see the bridge. Blah blah blah. Boring nerd stuff. Blah blah blah. And all I see is the guns. So let's get off this thing because it's getting cold and warmth and bed and all the other fun stuff. Let's get down. This ship's not gonna fly anytime soon.
Wait, can I check your oxygen mixture to make sure you're doing okay? It sounds like you might be able to, high on nitrogen or something, or I don't know what's on there.
He might have some. What is that? Hypoxia.
Hypoxia.
Yeah.
Hypoxia.
My brain wanted to argue if it was the high was the high, or if hyper was the low, or something.
Upon which I just flash the your number one sign to him and say, "This is my
this is my oxygen level."
Exactly. Let's just get this done with.
But the best part, I'm just picturing in my head. This is the best part. So as you flip him the bird, right on your wrist is the monitor that says oxygen levels nominal. Tank is at 75%.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh man. Okay.
So at which I assume again the bridge is up this way, so I'll start going up this way and just mention that hey, we have all this other good stuff besides the missile that we can take home. So let's not forget about that before we leave. There's plenty of cargo space in that wonderful ATV that we got.
Grimaldi just looks back over his shoulder at you and he's like, "But can you drive it?" And he says this and he says this in a joking tone, like just to be clear. He's obviously cracking smack at you.
Right. And I'm like, "Can you teach a class?"
With the best of them, motherfucker. He doesn't say motherfucker, but he's like, with the best of them.
Right.
They don't call me Dr. Grimaldi because I have a pretty piece of paper. Actually, they do. They do. And he goes back to the door between him and what he assumes is the bridge, and he continues to kind of fuddle with it while he's waiting for you to catch up.
Yeah, and he just meant, and then as Hellwig is going up that way, he just mentions stupid smart ass teachers. Always been smart asses.
Oh.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah,
We
and
we haven't found any bodies, so they might be up on this deck. So like, just kind of like prepare yourself for that.
bodies. Okay. I and that causes Hellwig to stop muttering to himself and that whole like kind of semi angry mutter that you do when you're pissed off at somebody, you don't want to say what you really want to say, and go, okay, bodies, dead bodies might be around. All right. And then immediately Hellwig just immediately starts going, wait, this ground hit ground space, ooh, and he starts chanting his little mantra from the head shrinker. The ground won't hurt me, the space won't hurt me, the ground won't hurt me, the space won't hurt me.
All right, let's take it back to Milligan and Wyatt. Milligan,
Yep.
you were last in the engineering area. You basically have surmised, to the best of your not an engineer way, that everything would probably be okay once it gets powered up. Where would you like to go next, my friend?
So have I explored all these little nooks and crannies and whatnot? Because I can't even tell what they really are.
You kind of get the gist that this is where you've got the MHD, which is the primary thrust for atmospheric flight. You have the reaction drives, which are no, I have that backwards. Reaction drives are for atmosphere. MHD is for space, non-stutter warp, and then of course you have the stutter warp drive that you are actually standing on right now, I believe. Or something along the... No. MHD is magneto-hydrodynamic drive.
That's your power plant. No, it's not a drive.
That is the
your
power plant, or
plant.
reactor,
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's not a reactor. It burns fuel. The fuel that you're carrying.
Yeah. But that's your. You're right. That's the power plant. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, some of the terminology slips right over me. But So again, once you again, obviously you're not very engineeringly inclined, but
I've spent a little time in engineering. I got yelled at by Mrs. Wyatt for being in there.
I had to fuck with the breakdancing Wyatt.
Yes, I knew it looked like that.
I got distracted.
I'll check this little closet that's right here. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking for bodies, and they could have been slid around and crammed up in a corner, and who knows what. As a naval officer, even though I don't like the French, I'm not going to leave a dead crewman here. If I can help it. So.
Yeah.
And
you could tell,
not finding anything in engineering, I'm going to head back, and ultimately I'll head up to the bridge.
Okay. You'll be up there about the same time as Hellwig and Grimaldi, I think. Wyatt, I think by this point you've got a half decent pulley system and barricade set up so that transferring from one level to the other, whether person or belongings, shouldn't be difficult. What would you like to do next,
And
my
we're
friend?
not going to keep all to our death down it.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to check out number 4.
Can you get to 4 from the hallway?
It looks like it.
Well, except you would have to go through 3 first, and we haven't quite got that far just yet.
Okay.
Well, but for the sake of argument, 3. Yeah, let's take a look at 3, which is I want to say that's the crew galley or something like that.
Crew lounge.
All right. As you guys, at this point, I imagine you've pretty much caught up to each other, and you are going into the crew lounge together, more or less. This area is not quite as bad as the rest of the ship looks like, as far as the mud and frozen and whatnot. It looks like there might have been a fire in here at one point. There are smoke and scorch marks along the walls. There are no dead bodies in this room. However, if anybody would like to take a more investigative approach to this area, please make a recon.
I will.
The coffee pot may very well have overloaded the circuit once the power started getting weird.
All right,
That
I
is
will
a
do it.
damn good roll for Milligan, and another really good roll for Charles. Or I'm sorry,
Yep.
Helwig.
Hellwig
Yeah.
at the 12.
Yeah. So this is what you find. God, where is it?
I don't know.
Carefully searching through various bits of debris and whatnot, you find a small tablet portacomp. It is quite smashed up. The glass is, like a teenager's iPhone.
Mm.
However, it does appear as though the memory chips, drives, whatever you want to call it, might be extractable and thus readable, if you would like to make some sort of effort for that.
All right. I guess I'll pop that out and stick that into my little subdermal port.
Okay.
Oh no, I can't because it's inside my suit. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll pop that out. I'll
I'm
pop
carrying
that out.
a hand comp if you don't have one.
Yeah, I don't have one.
I'll hand wave you carrying that. We'll say you've got that on you, that hand comp or whatever you just said.
Me?
Milligan, you're gonna throw it in your little computer dealie.
A hand comp. I'm not plugging it in. I don't know what's on it.
Come
Okay.
on.
So, no, I'll put it in my clean hand comp.
Sorry.
You'll keep it in safe. You'll leave safety mode on.
Yeah, that hand comp's not connected to anything, and it's clean. I don't use it.
You clean it regularly. McAfee virus and subscription is up to date.
Whatever it takes.
All right,
With
go
a
ahead
little
and give
Mr.
me
Clean across the screen.
Between the three of you, as needed, I need an electronic engineer. I'm sorry, no, that's the old way. This in the new version. What are we looking at? Electronics computer.
Computer.
Yep.
All right, give me an electronics computer. You're gonna need a 12.
A 12. You're
Not gonna get a 12 with that.
Let me try.
You get a bit of a zap in the process. Maybe there's some moisture on the leads.
That would be a 12 with me. Actually, a 13.
All right, I
So
think working together, you guys figure this out. All right. So the following information is available on this drive. The memory is mostly full of media of various sorts, including games, music, and video, much of which appears to actually be action vids, maybe even some pornography. I'm not even joking. They've literally put that in the PDF. Additionally, there are some documents on the device, however, including a book labeled, I am not going to read this. It's in French. I'm not going to say it right. There is let's say an auto-translate feature in your software that gives you the title, Protected Courier Crew Information.
Oh.
Yes, and that's short of you guys opening that particular file. I can't tell you anymore as far as what's on here. So basically a bunch of media, games, music, video, whatever, including action videos and pornography. So like Rambo 2301, or no, Rambo 2296 and the sequel 2297 are there, as well as this book entitled Protected Courier Crew Information.
I'll click on it.
As you thumb through this digital media, it is in French, but let's just assume you've got some sort of translation capability, whether you read it yourself or whatever. This is what appears to be the crew operations manual for the protected courier variant of the standard Aconit class frigate. Note that protected couriers have never been identified, and any details on the type are considered secret. This manual names all four of them as of the publication date 2283. These couriers are all externally identical to normal Aconits, or I don't know how to say that word either. I'm just going with Aconits. Yeah. You, my friend, have found the technical Bible for this ship.
Right.
Or not necessarily the ship, but for the class of ships.
Which one of them has the platinum chip?
The platinum chip.
I don't get it.
The Courier. Courier 6 from Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, yeah, no. I never I think I tinkered with New Vegas once or twice, and that was about as far as I got.
What are the names of all four of those?
It does not list it in the PDF, so
Oh.
but let's let it be
Bob
known
one.
that you guys know the name of at least 4 of these ships, because presumably as of 2283, after 2283, more of them may have been produced.
Bob 1, Bob 2, Bob 3, and
But, like,
Charlie.
No,
It's the
Durandal.
four.
Durandal.
It's the four classes of protected couriers, with the Durandal being one of those four classes. Is that
Not class, ship. So
so? There's 4 Durandal class ships.
the Durandal is the name of the protected courier variant of the Iconic class. I don't know if there's there might be a better way to explain, but think of it that way. So you have the base class, which is the Iconic, and you have the protected courier variant. The Durandal is one of 4 known, at least as of 2283. There are 3 other ships of this line, or I think the Navy calls them blocks. Charles, help me out here. They're usually called blocks.
Yeah, something like that. And then I mean, realistically, think of it like it's the. I mean, think of it like a car, right? So that there's, let's say, a Ford Focus. There's the standard edition, and then there's the limited edition. So everyone has the standard.
Sorry.
The Denali, and then everyone has the standard, but we just found the super duper,
all the bells
top
and
of the line,
whistles, the wood paneling,
right
because
version.
it has the Denali logo fixed to the back, it's worth an extra 10 grand.
Oh,
Exactly.
And does it have a Denali a hood ornament?
Yes.
Awesome.
And the key fob has an engraving of that same logo.
Right. I
Anyway,
mean,
we're way off track at this point. But I'm hoping, Thurgoy, that helps you understand what you're looking at here.
Yep.
All right, so the Durandal, just for everybody else's as a final estimation, is the Durandal is a protected courier. You know what? It does say Durandal class.
Which is a possibility. So there could be a subclass with inside ships, a
this
group of
could
ships,
be,
because there's
usually
enough
usually the first ship of a series of that class is named that class. So if the Durandal class first ship would be the Durandal, typically or traditionally for a lot of navies.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, as I mentioned, you did find the technical Bible for this particular class of ship, which is, for all intents and purposes, your technical manual. I know Charles knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. I don't know what the Navy called them, but in the Army, they were the TM9- whatevers.
Yeah, they're just the operator's manuals.
Yeah, that's effectively what this is the operator's manual. It covers every bit of the ship that anybody working on it would know. Now, it doesn't go into some of the super specifics. So because this is a crew member's book, or what in the Army we call it 10 level maintenance or everybody level maintenance. So some particular systems may have much more detailed information, but that wouldn't be available to just anybody. It would only be available to those that need to know it. This would be information that would be available to everyone. Everyone crewed on it, that is.
Okay. So right off the bat, once I find that out, I want to copy it to my hand comp.
Okay. Give me another computer electronics, and this will just be at 8. 8 plus. I think that can go through.
Okay.
Even though it was only a 5, I think with your additional stuff and your cyber brain.
Right.
I think we can allow that. Okay, yeah, you get a copy of it. You will notice, however, that the original file now carries a... when you make a copy of a copy and it says copy of a copy or something like that, or you get the number in parentheses, the original file now has that. Has a similar or some sort of marking similar to that in its file name.
My copy of it does.
No, the original.
No.
It's meant to. What it is, it's meant to indicate. I'll tell you this as the GM, because it doesn't specify this, and I'm just making this up. But basically, it's meant to be noted that somebody has made a copy of this official document that probably is classified at some high level.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So, for instance,
But
what
it's
I
all-
mean is, so basically, like, if the French authorities were to take that original file off of your thing, they'll know you've made a copy of it. But
Hey,
it's not
Quinn,
necessarily like super spy level secrecy. It's like,
can
it's-
you tell when the last time a computer got booted up?
can I tell?
In general. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's. I'm gonna say is it the BIOS log?
Yeah, it's something happening in game. So if Milligan shares that with the class, because he doesn't have to, he could just keep that a secret to himself.
Oh no, we're all going to get a copy.
Anyway,
It's gonna be like Oprah.
to you, chair. You get a copy of the operator's manual. You get a copy of the operator's manual. Anyway, so knowing that this is not original sealed in box, can we figure out when the last time this PDF was turned on?
No.
All right, GM. I'll let you get away with this one.
I mean, because like you're looking at a PDF, and the only thing that you can know that's different from when you first copied and pasted it onto your own computer is that when you made a copy of it, when you did the whole right-click file save as or whatever, the
Right.
original copy name changed from really secret thing to really secret thing 1. But
And
it's
you
not
know
that
what?
obvious. You know what I mean? It's not that obvious, and you can't figure out how to go in and edit it out.
I want to know
That's
when
fine.
the last time the iPad got turned on.
Say that one
Before
more
us.
time. I missed something there.
17 years
The
ago,
last time the iPod got turned on before us.
it wasn't working. We took the chip out of it, so we don't know that.
Yeah. That computer that you pulled the memory drive, or you basically extracted the hard drive and
Okay,
found this file
that's fine.
on it, and then made a
I
copy
wanna-
of that hard drive onto you, or a copy of that file from the hard drive onto your own personal drive.
All right, well, I'm going to go put that in my space backpack, and we're going to examine that in greater detail.
Okay. Your space backpack. Love it.
Yeah, it's a brand name, Space.
Right up there with SpaceX, but not to be confused
Yeah.
with. All right, got it. Okay. What are we doing next? Let's start with well, actually we'll go to the other group. This would be Helwig and Grimaldi.
So
And I
we've
will let
looked
you
at
move
this.
I'll let you move the people to where you want to go.
Okay. So we've all looked through all this. I guess then I'm gonna go. I gotta get zoomed in so I can see it. Okay. I guess we'll go up to roughly right
The area 1.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then look at how we can get into that little spot. Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to you're going up to area 1 and you're going to try to figure out how to get into area 2?
Yep. Totally.
Okay. All right, so let me look in the book because it does talk about the bridge. Obviously, when you come in here, because you knew this when you were looking at the ship from the outside, the first thing you'll notice entering the bridge is that not all, but about half of the front windows have been blown out. So you're open to the outside environment.
Okay.
You will also notice that there are. Let me back up. All of the consoles, the computer consoles, workstations, or whatever around the bridge are intact, but the bridge itself is just an utter fucking mess. Acceleration chairs have been ripped loose and are now kind of thrown about haphazardly. The whole room is about an ankle deep in thick, slimy muck. A lot of this is either frozen or starting to freeze, because as you look outside, you'll notice that the sun is definitely now, I mean, you guys have probably been inside the ship for maybe an hour-ish. The sun hasn't really moved a lot, but the sun is definitely below the highest of the mountain peaks near you, so it's pretty dim and it's definitely getting cold out. The hatches, you've already worked your way through the hatches. Two of the couches, including one of the ones that are ripped free, have some discolored corpses in them, and the bodies are in really bad shape, probably from injuries sustained while in the crash. There are two additional bodies piled up against the back bulkhead leading to the next area, that area 3, I think it was, that you wanted to get into after the bridge.
No,
Yeah, into area 2.
Okay, yeah, I'm alt tab, so I couldn't quite see what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we're gonna start
you've
pushing
got
into
so
2.
yeah, so up here in the bridge. Now that I'm back on the table here, so like there's what 5 chairs in the bridge area. 3 of them are completely disassembled, and then you've got these 1 or 2 or whatever right here. One of them's disassembled. There's a couple bodies right here, kind of crumpled up against the door. They look in bad shape before they died. Obviously, they're dead. They're not suited. It doesn't specify that they are suited, so I'm going to assume that they are not suited.
So they're probably effectively explosive decompression before the ship.
It's entirely possible. And there is a bio. God, what's the word I'm looking for here? The planet does have biomass and an ecosystem of some sort, but there, I guess maybe whatever microbiology there isn't either a lot, or it's not attracted to, or just simply can't stomach the body. The human body, I should say. So a lot of the things as far as decomposition that we would expect on Earth aren't here. If you want to do, if you wanted to do like investigation or medical checks or things of that nature, to dig more into this information,
I got my medic too. I got a medic too, so I'm just gonna kind of skim them. I got to zoom back out so I can see the stupid dice roller. I'm gonna do a medic too, at least on a few of the bodies, to kind of get the obvious of what we're doing.
All right, so you're checking.
Hellwig.
Yeah, what's up, Wyatt?
While you're checking out those bodies, can you like take whatever we need to identify them when we get back to Beowulf?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's the other thing I'm gonna do. Like at the same time, is look for tags or look for ID wallets and things like that. Just to kind of
bags on the Grindelborn. That's Grimaldi piping in, by the way. He's like, "Don't we have body bags or something on the Grindel? Am I wrong?"
I figured, worst comes to worst, we could just take the head.
That's so macabre. I see where you're going with that. But
I just grimaced.
That was definitely that was definitely Grimaldi saying that, which is ironic because part of his name has the word grim in it.
I just say no.
Well, no. So they can identify them with dental records and things like that. And plus there's a lot of good places where a lot of DNA is buried deep inside the skull for genetic identification.
He's not wrong. That's Grimaldi again, by the way. He's not wrong, but
I'm like,
man,
yes, he is.
Grimaldi is like, there's like a shiver running up Grimaldi's spine right now. He's like, ugh.
Right? I mean, we're out of Hellwigs is we're not decapitating them. No.
I'm not okay. Fine. I don't care how we bring that identification information, but that's my brute force answer.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary.
I don't
we can handle
it's
this.
not necessary. Maybe our hand will do. I don't know.
All right. That just sounds a lot like a crime I investigated one time in Innsbruck. The horrors of that just make me shudder. No.
Did for 20 years.
All right, go ahead and make your roll if you're going to make a roll.
Anyhow.
What skill are you using?
I'm using medic. Using medic.
Just as an FYI, you can do investigate if you choose. It's up to you as to which one.
7, 2 is a 9.
-1 is
3,
8.
10.
Okay, 9.
8, yeah.
All right, yeah.
9.
So a couple of things you notice off the bat, and I'll give you a little bit of an investigation response as well. One of the things, obviously, these guys are dead, and I'm assuming you looked at all 4 of the bodies on the bridge. The 2 strewn about, and then the 2 that ended up down here towards area 2. None of them have dog tags or any other identification type information that you can extract,
Right.
other than, DNA gross stuff. The two in particular blocking the hatchway to Area 2 there, it looks like they died at some point, roughly where they are, and were moved, and then an attempt was made, a pretty good attempt, but not very good attempt was made to return them to the original position. I.e., in short, these bodies have been tampered with.
Tampered with. Oh no. And so I'll report that across the comm and say, this is a crime scene, kids.
Like, why is that?
And I'm going to mention that the bodies were tampered with and removed, and explain that blah 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 this and blah 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 that. That if it was crashed, it would be they would have fallen this way. The whole CSI level
Well,
of
okay, so
exploration.
let me re-explain. So the bodies, in particular, the two right here by Area 2, they appeared to have actually died there. But what gives it away for you that makes this
Mhm.
really weird is that it looks like they were moved away from there, and then they were put back. But you'll notice that maybe some of the indentation in the mud doesn't quite match up with where the arm is now, or for all intents and purposes, when you were a kid and you tried to sneak into your mom's room or your parents' room and you tried to take something and you had to move something and you tried to put it back and that was come back later, and they knew you were in there because they know how everything is, and you missed one small detail. Amplify that slightly, and that's what you're looking at here. It appears that these individuals died here through the process of the crash or whatever. But the fact that after they were dead, post-mortem, the bodies were moved, and then they attempted to put them back, but they didn't quite put them back the right way.
Oh, okay.
Does that make more sense?
On that, yeah, no, that's what I mean. So then, I mean, still, I'm going to bring up the fact that hey, we got a situation where this body's removed, and there's this problem that we probably need to either talk to our Pentapod friends about, or we need to assume that there's been someone else who's here and they already know about this ship, and that's why there's none of the missiles on board.
Well, the Pentapods.
Go ahead.
I'll speak up and say the Pentapods have obviously been here because they got a patch, so they've been here at some point. And you know how they are about bodies. So
Grimaldi, you just hear Grimaldi muttering under his skin. Why? I forget the exact words that Llewellyn used in the first time you guys were here, but whatever that line was, you hear Grimaldi muttering that. Not in a creepy way, just for the record, because I really kind of wanted to make it creepy, but he's not doing it to try to be creepy. He's just like, yep. Do you have any dead bodies biomass? Whatever the fuck it line was, he's saying it under his breath, and you hear it. And he's definitely agreeing, too. He's like, yeah, clearly the Pentapods know more than they're telling us. They told us... Actually, I think this is exactly what Grimaldi says. It's like, okay, yeah, clearly the Pentapods have more answers than we got. They knew where the ship was. If those bodies were moved, like you're suggesting, they had to be the only ones. They must be the only ones that could have done that. But why?
I asked Helwig, I said, did you see anything on the bodies that look like they took samples or anything like that?
The GM's answer
obvious.
is no, just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, nothing obvious. I mentioned I flip them around like 3 or 4 times, and I search the rest of their gear for, like I said, for wallets or IDs or stuff like that. And I just mentioned I've been collecting that, but I don't see anything that says that this that these folks were messed with or challenged or harassed or anything else like that. It just looks like they've been moved. So
Grimaldi kind of, I'm trying to picture, I'm getting something of a comical image in my head of Grimaldi kind of poking his head over your shoulder, Helwig, But of course, everybody's in spacesuits,
Yeah.
so it's like much more exaggerated, right? But I feel like he kind of does
Right.
some sort of poke around you, or peek around you rather, and he looks at the bodies and he says, you know, it's almost like they moved them to get into that room and then put them back when they were done. But
Uh,
if they moved them, why would they bother putting them back? Like, why wouldn't they just leave them where they fell?
Probably more than likely to make it look like that no one was been here and
Okay,
just
that's a
ramble
fair
off.
point. I don't know what they would say in 2300 in 2298 or 97,
Yeah.
but that's the gist of his response. It's like, okay, nope, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
So if there's biometrics on the door, that's useless to us because the body is no longer in the shape to be recognized by biometrics.
Yeah. Speaking as a GM, yeah, when it comes to biometrics, you might get dental records, you might get DNA records, but beyond that, it's pretty icky. I can't imagine like for instance, facial recognition. I have no idea what his face would look like 10 or 12 years later after it's been exposed to this weird, frozen, muddy environment for so long.
Yeah, probably not great. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So, have like, do you not feel comfortable taking some identifying genetics or something now, or do you want to leave them alone? What do you want to do?
I'm gonna leave them alone. I don't have like a kit that I would normally have if I was still a cop. But
Okay.
we could definitely. I mean, I found some ID tags. I found some licenses and some other stuff. So
There is no ID. None of the bodies have any
oh, there's no.
identification. Correct.
Oh no, I.
In
Okay,
fact,
sorry.
what was your roll there? You ended up with something like an 11 total or something like that, I think you said?
Yeah, it was like 10,000 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give you this one. I'll tell you what. This is what I'll give you. During your search, in an initial, examination or whatever, it seems like both of these two bodies at one point in time probably had, much like most military personnel, would have had dog tags or something like that.
Right.
You could tell, in fact, that at the time of death, you know how the dog tag necklace will sometimes leaves a mark on your neck.
Mhm.
That mark never cleared because, well, the body was dead. And I'm not sure if that
Right.
would actually happen, but let's just assume it does. So you can see a similar pattern that looks like it was indeed his dog tag chain. But there is no dog tag chain on either of their necks at this point in time.
Okay. So I'll kind of mention that too as a side, and then just look at. I guess I'll. This is really macabre, and I don't like to do this, but I'll kind of grab a finger off of a couple of them and just kind of
You could
snap it.
use I'm not a cop and I don't know much about
Yeah.
DNA, but I imagine, well, I don't know. The DNA may not have survived
Omar,
Right.
in his hay. Yeah,
you have to tell me if you're a cop. Are you a cop?
I'm not a cop, and no, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
Only a cop would know that.
No,
He's on.
no, a
he's
lot of people would
undercover.
know that. A lot of intelligent people would know that. You know what? Just for the sake of argument, you could say you grabbed a handful of hair from both of them, and you were
Right.
able to. And I
Okay.
imagine with your equipment, between the four of you, you've got to have two separate containers for these strands of hair.
Yeah.
And we'll just
Yeah.
assume whether or not, forensically, medically speaking, that you can get enough of a DNA match off of that, even after all this time. I have no idea if that would work. Or, like, in theory, we'll just give it a generic label of genetic material, a la
Yeah,
Battletech
yeah.
or Space
Right.
Marines.
We'll take video and photography, recording of the sample taken from which body is,
Right.
and all that jazz.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, just kind of do all that type of fun stuff, and then turn around. and from there I'll also mention that hey, we got 2 or 3 suits here we can load up, but there's still a lot of good stuff on this thing. So maybe we need to get back to the Grendel and turn around and figure out what's our next thing to do.
Grimaldi's gonna pop his head up. Or I shouldn't say pop his head. He's gonna kind of speak up. If they move those bodies,
Mm-hmm.
what if they move those bodies in order to get in behind that door, and they put the bodies back to make it look like they were never in there? Which means they must have found something in there. I wonder what is still in there that can give us a clue as to what it was at one point in time.
I mean, I want to
we
go in the protected room.
we can go in the room. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
And hopefully there's nothing that's going to do the jump scary thing.
Boom!
So yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean,
I really
I'm
hope that anybody watching this video in the future is not driving and doesn't jump from that.
and I'm just going to turn around, look at Grimaldi, and go exactly like that. No, bad doctor. No PhD paper for you.
I already have it, so I don't care. Okay, you're gonna go into the next area, the area 2 then?
Area 4.
Area 2 is is this right here, which is where Helwig and them are.
Yeah.
As for
Where's the protected room?
Yeah, that's what we're going to work on next.
4 is marked as the protected room, so let's take a look at the protected room. Let me see one thing really quick.
No load time. Only now.
You hush. All right, 4 is labeled as. Is there a wardroom label on here? Something labeled as a wardroom?
Nope.
No. Okay, so the text does. So I'm gonna assume this is that room. This is an armored room with a locked door. I imagine after sufficient effort, you're able to slowly crank open the door to this room, and beyond this door, you see a pair of low berths, a series of jury-rigged fuel cells, and a corpse inside a vac suit.
Well, they almost made it.
This corpse is considerably decomposed.
Not paying much mind to the dead body. I wipe away the mud and frost of the cryoburst and see what's inside.
All right. Let's see. Unlike the bunnies,
It's the missile warheads.
Yeah, why would they put them in cryo? That's the weird part. You know what? At this point, it doesn't matter.
Right?
Let's see. Unlike the body,
It's the special USO tour.
Yeah. The 2 low berths are empty. It does look like they have power, however, weirdly.
I bet they're empty.
Yes. So, mucking about with the controls for these cryopods, the control panels indicate that both occupants died roughly 5 years ago, and that the berths went into a preservation cycle, which uses less power, and also that it indicates that both berths were opened about 27 days ago. I want to stress that it says all of that, you gained all that information, but as you can clearly see when you scrape away the frost and muck and whatever else, these berths are indeed empty.
27 days ago.
So the body that's here is not in one of the berths. It's
the body's in a vac suit.
Okay. Just like laying in the floor?
Yeah, laid on the floor, crumpled against the wall somewhere, or something like that.
All right. I'll check him out while Wyatt's looking at the berths.
Yeah. I'll get as much diagnostic data as I can out of them and all that jazz. And when we were on Grindelborn last time, was it more or less than 27 days ago?
On the planet Grendel?
Yeah.
Year was roughly 2 weeks before you even started this particular series. It's been... I'm just going to go with it's pretty close to 27 days ago, but no. I'm off the top of my head, quick math guess is it was about 21-ish days ago at the most. So this would have taken place roughly a week or so prior You guys coming
Okay.
up here to rescue the students. And that actually triggers something of a memory for you guys. If you recall a moment ago, Grimaldi was giving, again, I want to reiterate, I don't remember the specific line of what the Pentapod was asking when he was asking for dead bodies, right? Grimaldi was stating or reciting it in a semi not meaning to be creepy way. But one of the key words there, as you're looking at the 27 days ago indication, is that one part of that question or statement was, do you have any more dead bodies? I probably should have made you roll intelligence to get that connection, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, this is a shower.
Oh.
We don't have a memory skill check.
I mean, it would be an intelligence test, but yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
I get it.
So that was pentapod poop.
Or dead ones.
Are you assuming he ate the other dead bodies and he was hungry, looking for more
No.
good food? That was really, really dark, by the way.
But no judgment. Pentapod do what pentapod do.
Wiggles or Thurgor, can one of y'all roll me a recon roll of some sort while you're checking
Yeah,
out?
sure.
Somehow you both managed to roll exactly 8, the exact same way. The first thing, there's two things here. One, you will notice that around the neck of the corpse inside the vac suit, let me double check one more thing. You will notice a couple things. So one, the individual decomposed body inside the vac suit is wearing his uniform, the French Navy uniform of whatever it was back in the day, and his rank appears to be that of the captain. He's also carrying wearing dog tags on his corpse. And they look like they look like not your standard dog tags, but they look like they're a little bit thicker. And it almost looks like, based on some of the indentations on the ends of the dog tags, that they actually could be fitted into some sort of disk drive in order to be read. There is a bag hanging from the side of the belt of his vac suit. And on the other side of that bag is a 10mm pistol holstered with a magazine loaded into the pistol. Lastly, there is, along one wall, is a wireframe shelf, and on that shelf are 22 armored composite containers. Roughly, I don't know what this would translate to, so if somebody wants to do the Google conversion, 30 by 30 by 20 centimeters. I don't know what that turns into inches, but that sounds like roughly 1 foot cubed, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
These containers are individually fastened to the wireframe shelf, and they all appear to be locked. Some sort of physical and also a not necessarily a keypad, but some sort of digital lock. So like instead of an actual like a 10 key, it's probably like a 3 or 4 key kind of keypad.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So that's coming with us.
What is coming with you?
Oh, the
It
dead
sounds-
body, obviously. That's what I was referring to.
Okay.
I want to collect the
Definitely.
dead body. I want to start a collection, and I'm going to go really weird with it.
You haven't been weird before?
I can. That was just me testing the waters. I feel confident to go even further beyond.
All right. Let me ask a couple of questions. You're going to take the captain's body back to...
I'm not serious about that. It's the foot-long box.
Oh, the 22 individual boxes that are individually wired to the wire shelf.
Yeah.
So you're going to take plenty of time
I'll remove the entire goddamn wall if I have to. That's coming with us.
No, I
You just
think
cut the
with
locks
a
off,
little
can't
bit of I think with some creative use of a plasma torch, cutting torch sort of thing, you can effectively clip the whatever containment device is used to secure those individual cases to the shelves. There are 22 of them, and they weigh, let's just say, like 10 or 15 pounds a piece. So they're not an easy carry, but they're not a difficult carry.
Are they marked?
Let's see.
They don't have a
Yes,
radiological
actually,
symbol
they
on them, do they?
are marked with the following numbers and letters: NTA dash 3980 and a P in lowercase. Has anybody served or worked with the French Space Force by any chance?
No.
No.
It's possible we shot at some, but no, I'm kidding.
No, in that case, that's all you got, is you have these boxes
NTA.
that are individually marked. I'm going to type it in TTS really quick for you.
Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna remember that spelling. Like that's already out of our head.
I've got it written down.
3980.
3980p. Yeah.
Yep.
But there is no radiological symbol on it, right?
Let me take a look at this. Let me read this paragraph slightly better.
Okay.
And it's like setting off our.
No, there are not radiological symbols, and there is no indications from any sort of radio meter thingies.
Okay.
I love the technical talk. What about biological hazard symbols? Anything like that?
Nope. The only thing
All
you
right.
get is I imagine you probably have something like the, a lot of military equipment in the U.S. has like property of the U.S. Army, property of the U.S. government, property of the U.S. military, Army, whatever. So there's that line, right? In French, of course. And if you bother to translate, you can assume it means property of the French Space Forces. And then the NTA 3980P. And it doesn't say anything else.
Okay. So at this point, we've been almost
Property
everywhere.
of the U.S. in French. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Milligan.
I said at this point we've been almost everywhere. Hellwig's about to check out that other room right there.
Uh-huh.
But what we didn't find were warheads.
Correct.
So I'm going to make a statement that I believe anyway, with the missile bodies there, unless they were taking them to a manufacturing facility, that empty space in the vault could have possibly held other cargo, and maybe we need to talk to the pentapods about that.
I mean, I'm interested in talking to the pentapods anyway to see what. Whoa! Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to rotate that. My
How did
bad.
you even do that? That should have been locked. It's not locked.
No, I meant to just breakdance my character and my mouse moved.
They all say that.
They all really do. He's not lying.
Anyway, my wide train of thought before that had was he was interested in talking to the pentapods anyway to see if they knew what the organic material was.
Right.
You're talking about the stuff at the back end of the ship on the first.
Yeah,
level.
the ship poop.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is this one of your people?
Yeah, is this one of your people? Do you know this guy?
I brought you
not a guy.
cadaver / goo /
Nope, that's not one of us. I don't know where you found him. We are getting towards the end of the session, so I do want to tell you what's in that last room, and then we can wrap up.
Is it computers?
Well, let me scroll through this a little bit here. Hellwig and Grimaldi, you guys will enter this room. This is the Tactical Action Center. It is actually pretty clean and clear in here. Surprisingly, there is no muck, ice, or dirt in the room. The acceleration couches are all intact. 4 of the 8 couches are occupied by corpses, however. Though they are discolored, the bodies are in relatively good shape, considering even the fact that it was like 10 or 12 years ago when this ship crashed. I do need you to make some sort of investigation recon roll to learn more information.
All right, so I'm going to do an investigation roll.
All right, what's your total mod on that?
Plus 3.
All right, so it'll be plus 2 because of the inherent -1. Doesn't matter.
So,
You got a natural
10.
8.
Yep.
Careful examination of this room reveals a collection of small circular marks along the floor, though they have largely been cleaned up. The marks are clearly not footprints, but it is unclear what exactly it is, and a close examination of the bodies will reveal that a small chunk of tissue has been removed from the meaty part on the neck on each of the 4 bodies. It actually almost looks like somebody tried to take a bite out of them.
They're creepy.
Lastly, the Tactical Action Center contains an additional pair of consoles that look more like the fire control consoles for inside of a vehicle than something you might find on a starship. If you would like to make an additional role relating to either investigation or any sort of military service, which actually, now I think about it, you don't actually have, you
Nope.
may or may not make this
But
connection.
I'll do an investigation roll.
All right, give me 8 plus. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's obvious to you that these last sets of controls that we're talking about here manipulate the 30mm pop-up autocannons on the central surface of the ship. And somewhere in your process of looking around, you actually recall reading or hearing about an idea that some parts of the French Navy were looking at using these autocannons, repurposing them, from their ground vehicles to be used or mounted on starships in order to try to save costs on outfitting new ships.
All right, I'll kind of document that and with Grimaldi's little notepad, and then just mention of the comms again. It's getting dark. It's getting cold. We probably need to get back to the Grendel because I don't want to be a popsicle.
Yeah, no, and look at the technical manuals. We don't need to be on board the ship trying to figure what things on the ship are.
That's also a fair point. Grimaldi says that as well as the GM.
But we also have all those beautiful guns and stuff that we could take with us. So
not just the guns, Grimaldi points out in a joking. When he says so, when I, the GM, say this, I'm being serious. But when Grimaldi says this, he's being incredibly sarcastic. Not to mention all that ammo.
Right.
Damn straight.
Because Grimaldi says it's from a point of what's the point of a gun if you can't shoot the bullets that are meant for it.
I get that. You're an annoying doctor. Just.
I'm laughing. Yes. Grimaldi is just like,
Yes, and I'm like, you're right. And I walked towards the Grendel.
Side note, yeah, I'm imagining this conversation taking place as you guys are maybe affixing some rope to somewhere in here, and then climbing or rappelling down very carefully, and then making your way over to the Grendelborn, and you're just like giving each other a bunch of shit as you try to come up with your plan after you take something of a rest break. Again, time moves, not time, but the sun moves slowly here compared to Earth, so take a few hours and the sun looks like it's barely moved. But it is dark, and it is getting chilly, and you have been wandering around the ship at this point somewhere between 1 and 2 hours. So maybe taking a break and breathing, not necessarily your own breath, but definitely not necessarily fresh air either. Inside the Grendelborn.
I still had a question about the captain's body.
Yes, please.
There was the sack.
Yes.
And he had a pistol and his own dog tag. So I want to collect his dog tags. I want to collect that pistol. And then I'm going to look in that sack and see what's in there.
Inside that sack, I got to get to the correct page again. Because of course the way the text is broken up in the PDF, you start the description of the ship areas, and then there's 2 pages of maps, and then there's the rest of the description. So I gotta scroll back and forth a few times here, and my scroll wheel doesn't work as well as I would like it to. Where is right here? Inside that sack is inside that sack are 27 sets of dog tags.
Okay.
Each of them have that same sort of indentations making it look like it could be slipped into some sort of disk drive. But it doesn't have. So the captain's dog tags look pretty extensive, those indentations and whatnot. These look like it's a simple, almost like a insert, scan, remove. Whereas the captain's looks like it might have a lot more data transfer capability. Does that make sense the way I explained it?
Yep.
So you're saying that the captain's dog tags can play Doom?
More like you
And
could probably throw a PDF on there, whereas the other 27 sets of dog tags are going to give you an individual's name, social security number, other pertinent identification information, and that's it.
All right.
So my only last question
I know you were
is,
being a smartass, but I threw my response into an answer that the party can actually work with. Because I GM weird ways.
so my last question is, I know it's getting dark, I know it's getting cold, but I also know that once it gets dark and gets cold, it's going to be dark and cold for what, 4 days?
70 hours.
Like 40? Yeah. The whole day is 70 something hours, right? So
yeah,
it's like,
so it'll be like 2 days at least. Because it was like 40 hours that you guys had to wait from when the storm hit and the sun went down to when the sun was up and it warmed up enough to start de-icing the landers to leave the first time. So yeah, you've got like 2 days once the sun is down.
So do we really have to rush back to the Grindelborn, or might we have enough time to offload what we need to offload and get in the Grindelborn and get the heck out of here?
I mean, so let me ask this question. As we wrap up this session, is that what you guys are going to focus on for the next, let's say it'll take you a few hours to get everything off the ship that you want to take off and loaded, and then take a break in the Grindelborn and rest for a few hours or however long you want to rest? Or do we just go straight to the Grindelborn, rest, and then come back and tackle what we got? Because the reason why I'm asking is, in my mind, it's going to be dark. I mean, it's already pretty well dark enough to be dark.
So we've talked about the fact that the Grindelborn has like fabbing capabilities. Can we like fab up like LCD panels or stuff?
And what would be the purpose of these LCD panels? Just so I'm clear,
For light. LED panels probably make more sense than LCD. LEDs, so many acronyms.
Yeah, no, I got
Light
you.
emitting diodes.
Yes, yeah. I feel like, yeah, you could. Yes, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. Grimaldi will point out that at some point you'll need to collect maybe a few pounds of like straight up ice, so that the Grindelborn can crack it for fuel.
Well, that's shitty, not insurmountable.
I mean, he kind of when you say that response, he just looks around. He's like, "Yeah, no, I can't see any ice anywhere." Grimaldi suddenly has become a smartass, by the way.
Yeah, Hellwig has not noticed that at all.
I'm sorry, continue, Hellwig.
I was gonna say, I mean, like just full on. When we get back to civilization, he's gonna find Grimaldi and send him the membership club to the sarcasm.
The sarcasm
US,
panel.
The sarcasm club.
Yeah, honorary inductee of the year.
Yeah, like we really need you to join us.
Well, I had to bite my tongue when he said our salvage.
Yeah.
Well, it is his, definitely.
I don't think there's any legal way for it to not be also part of the schools, and the school's also sponsoring the trip.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The school is definitely
as
well invested as Tankerson.
All right, we've traveled like 200-300 kilometers on this little shithole. We haven't seen any ice.
No, that was Grimaldi again being sarcastic. There's ice everywhere. The problem is, so here's the thing. I'm gonna make this kind of a something of a MacGuffin here. So in order to get, let's say, 2 pounds of ice, which I have no idea how much fuel that would actually turn into, but just for the sake of argument, in order to get 2 pounds of straight up ice, you're probably going to have to gather, harvest, whatever, 50 pounds of icy, muddy shit. So it's not necessarily going to be, 2 pounds of ice. That's easy. There's like 15 icicles right there. It's going to take some time because you have to figure out how to clean it, turn it into usable water. Then that water, whatever is left over after that process, gets cracked for fuel. for the Grendelborn. But Grimaldi's only pointing that out in the, we've got a little bit of time. Like, we don't need to do this right now, but maybe before we go and invest in getting back to the Pentapods or getting back to Llewellyn, we're definitely going to want to take a look at our fuel situation.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that like why it's gonna like put the tire. Okay, so I'm not trying to ditch out of the labor, but I'm gonna go back on board the Grindelborn. I'm gonna start fabbing up some lighting panels, and while we still have light, try to load up what cargo we can.
All right, as you guys are
And
discussing all this, I am taking a few notes real quick to know what you guys are working on over the next, let's say, the next 3 to 6 hours, to include resting as you decide. Just that way I can incorporate that into my prep for the next session. So I've got fuel for the Grendelborn as a generic statement, fabbing the light panels, offloading effectively whatever you're going to offload. Does that sound right?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be looking at like, okay, hey, yeah, we need to get some other spacesuit stuff out and other stuff. So
yeah, so you want specifically the combat vacuum combat or whatever the fuck it was, the combat vacuum suits,
the combat vac suits, and then
the weapons,
the weapons,
grenades,
and then we'll exactly,
and then the tech manual,
Missile bodies.
Oh yeah,
Well,
here. Okay, so when it comes to the missiles, do you guys want to take all 22?
Yeah.
Do you also want to take the other 22 cases of whatever the fuck?
If they'll fit.
NTA or whatever. Okay. I'm going to hand wave that you could probably stack them nice and neat in the back, and I'm air quoting in the back of the Grendelborn inside, and then fabricate or otherwise produce some sort of restraint system to keep them from flopping all over the place.
Yep.
All right.
And so Milligan is definitely going to be keen on getting body bags from the Grendel and collecting all the bodies as well. And if they have to go on the outside, strap down to the outside, then that would be fine
makes
too.
sense. Like, I feel like just from a hygienic standpoint, no matter what. Oh God, no. You definitely want to probably put those bodies on the outside, because here's why. They've been in the Grendel atmosphere, which we've determined has severely degraded the decomposition, right? You put them in Earth-based atmosphere, which would be the interior of the Grendelborn, even inside that body bag, those bodies are gonna almost flash fry. Like it's not good. So yeah, I would recommend either fabbing or otherwise having the body bags and then another restraint system to secure them to the exterior of the vehicle. I personally would not want to put all those dead bodies inside the vehicle. Not if I could help it.
It'd be like a bad night where the drunk pukes in the back of the car.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there's off the top of my head, there's 8 plus the captain who's in a vac suit, which honestly I would just leave him in the vac suit. I wouldn't even bother putting him in a body bag. That's my opinion.
Right.
My opinion. Don't listen to me. You could vac suit him, or body bag him up as well. Give him
how about we just put them in a vise so that way we compact them into something more manageable.
Shush.
It just sounds hideous. God damn. Wiggles, no more ideas from you for the next 2 sessions. All right, just to clarify, you guys are grabbing the combat vac suits, the weapons, the grenades, the tech manual. Obviously, you already have that. Missile bodies and the NTA whatevers. The corpses. My count is, again, 8, I believe it was, plus the captain, who's in a vac suit. You've got the captain's dog tags. Obviously, because they're still attached, plus the other 27 sets of dog tags.
Yep.
And then the plan from there is to, once you have all this stuff cross-loaded on the Grendelborn, what is the next step that you guys want to go for?
I mean, we'll probably do rest because we drove. Yeah.
Yeah. 27 dog tags collected. Achievement unlocked. 27. No, this is the irritating part. It's gonna say 27, and then it'll update to 28 as soon as you cross-load the captain's body, and then lastly it says out of 30.
Oh, shit.
And you're just looking around like, where the fuck are these last 2 ultra rare dog tags?
Oh,
We're in those
yeah,
two
they're in
births.
they're in that one door we couldn't get into because we didn't have the right key. Because we needed the gold key
We
that was
needed the
supposed to
gold
be
key,
picked up.
not the red key or the blue key or whatever.
Yeah,
So-
which was picked up like 3 save scrums ago. So we got to start this all
Exactly.
over again.
Exactly. So this whole save is now just botched. You have to start over.
So I was using a manual door to collect like all the letters or notes from GTA 5, and like I spent like 3 or 4 hours doing that, and then when I thought I was done, I didn't get the fucking achievement, and I looked and they said I was missing 4. Where?
Okay,
So,
so
I gave up on that.
I don't blame you. All right, so after you guys cross-load all of this stuff, you're gonna rest. I imagine something close to like 6 hours or something like that, so you can at least get some decent sleep in there. Is that the plan?
Well, we'll rest as long as we'll rest at least 6 hours, and we'll rest if the fabbing takes longer than that. We'll rest until the fabbing's done.
Okay. All right. Rest 6 hours or fab. Whichever's-
No point going back in the ship if we can't see our ass from our hand.
No. And then after that, once you guys have cross-loaded everything and you've rested up, your next move is what?
So while we're resting up, Wyatt is going to figure out the location for the ship's black box. And
I want to be clear. I'm looking more for like, because if there's more stuff you want to pull from the ship that you think of between now and the next session, that's totally fine. I'm just trying to think of like your general game plan moving forward. We're gonna do all this cross-loading stuff. We're gonna do all this resting stuff. Then we're gonna do what? Where do you like when you get ready to leave the Durandal? Where are you going next? Effectively, is what I'm
Pinnapod
asking.
camp.
Pinnapod.
Disneyland.
Back.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
All right, Pinnapod,
Right.
Disneyland.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think we can avoid the pentapods, right? We have to go to the pentapod camp to get back to the research base.
So it's
Yeah,
not
we do.
necessarily
We have to.
linear. I think arguably, you could, with all the data and navigation information, geologic service, whatever the fuck, you could, in theory, figure out how to get back to Llewellyn. Now, the easier answer is yes, basically retrace your path, but you could go directly to Llewellyn from here with the information you have. It just might be sketchy or a little bit more difficult than what you've already encountered.
Okay.
There is also the question of if you don't go to the Pentapod base, you won't get the answers to some of the questions that you guys may or may not have at this point.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely want to go back to the pentapod base and check it out.
All right, so Pentapod base, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just verifying before I screw that up. Okay. And then, like I said, if you guys think of anything else you want to do at the ship between now and next session, by all means, we can ad-lib that in as needed. I think with that in mind, let's go ahead and move into the outro phase and feedback / outro comments from the three of you, starting with Charles.
I think with finding all the really cool stuff that's expensive and that legally I can't own, but now I can own it. Hellwig is like a kid in a candy store trying to decide, well, do I want one of these, 2 of these, 3 of these, and then
When what you really want is all of these.
Yeah, but knowing that you have to at least give some of it back to the school and some other people,
Share.
I gotta share. Yeah, that's disgusting. Especially when there's all these cool toys.
Yep.
But no, seriously though, I think finding all that, finding the ship, finding a couple of these Stutterwort missiles, even without the warheads, is cool. The mystery of who touched it last is going to be.
You're talking about the dead bodies next to the tax center?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting question. So, that'll be fun to talk about. next session, especially when we get back to the other guys,
The
and
Pen-
go, all right, what do you
Penapod
know?
Fives. Yeah, and listen to
Yeah.
their quite literal double speak.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What didn't you tell us?
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, it's like, okay, I'll be set. And yeah, this was kind of fun, kind of doing that exploration thing, and especially all the weirdness that came along with that. And then recognizing that Wyatt maybe needs to go talk to a therapist more than I do.
I don't know if it's Wyatt that needs a therapist, or if that might be a little rude. I won't say that. I didn't
Yeah.
even
I'm
realize.
going to therapy.
Okay, never mind. I stand corrected. Maybe Wiggles needs therapy because he actually is going to a therapist. I feel like that's the only way I can get away with saying that.
I wasn't. I mean, we just took a couple dark turns, and I like dark humor, but it was like, ooh, wow.
Jesus, Wiggles
Okay,
will listen.
so-
Wiggles will push it every time.
So if I
Yeah.
really did make you uncomfortable and squeamish, I will want to apologize for that. I did not mean to do that.
Oh no, it was just like wow, that came out of left field, and that went.
That's probably more Hellwig than Charles.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, that I don't
Yeah.
want. I don't want to make anyone playing with me, uncomfortable like that. That's
Oh
not.
no, you're totally fine.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like I said, it's just the.
Okay.
Well, speaking of
I gotta
uncomfortable, I'm sorry. Please continue, Charles. I almost
Oh no,
transitioned on you.
I'm done. I'm
Okay.
out. I'm out.
All right. Well, speaking of uncomfortable conversations, Wiggles, one, comments, feedback, etc., and your outro stuff, but also, what is the third G for today? That stumped him.
Gardens.
Gardens. Fuck it. Why not?
Well, I have 26 acorn squash and 30 zucchini.
That I don't know what an acorn squash is exactly. I know squash is squash. I got that part, but the acorn part I don't know. But that is awesome that you have a lot of squash and zucchini though. Are you gonna make some zucchini
And
bread?
I have like 8 pounds of plums. Yes. But
So
that doesn't
delicious.
require 30 fucking zucchinis.
No, probably not. Not unless you're trying to make like 30 something loaves of it.
Yeah, no, I have way too many of these things that I don't enjoy them. So today the G stands for garden.
There you go. That sounds like a great use of that letter. What kind of comments, feedback, etc. do you got for us for tonight?
It was fine. Thank you for letting us avoid the dexterity check with me being an OSHA slut and just
OSHA sluts. That's what I'm gonna put in Discord, by the way. When I post the link for the video, I'm just gonna be like, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Such and such, such and such. OSHA sluts. Here's the YouTube link.
because I was that as a player goal, that was my intent of doing all the safety lines and all the welding and whatnot, is just to circumvent as much as much Three Stooges calamity as possible.
Three Stooges calamity trademarked.
Calamity. Oh man.
No, honestly, I think that was really cool of you to throw that in there because I didn't think about it. It's not in the text I'm using as a reference. But yet at the same time, I feel like any salvage crew worth their shit finding a ship like this, slightly canted but slippery as fuck everywhere, is definitely going to try to set up some sort of safety guidelines, literal safety guidelines, to try to prevent people getting fucked up or equipment being damaged.
Right, and so the welds I was doing, were functional. They weren't pretty, right? But they yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. Your wife's not here. She's not gonna judge you on how ugly they look. She's just gonna be like, yeah, all right, they worked.
Look, it can take 600 pounds. What do you want from me? I mean, they're little triangle A-frames. They'll do great.
Yeah, exactly. You got anything else for us? I'm gonna take that as a no.
I am curious what the ship's poop is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm curious. I my money is at the pentapod. It's pentapod poop of some sort.
It's a safe bet at this point. I mean, when you think about how many people have been on this planet, it's probably the pentapods.
My as a player, where I put my money is the fact that the pentapods found the warheads and they covered them in poop to make them inert.
That is definitely a theory. I'll say that much. All right, you got anything else, or shall we move on to our final contestant?
Yeah. So, how much water to cement do you generally mix? Is it like a
All right,
ratio?
Thurgor.
Do you,
It
Son of a
depends on the
bitch,
type of
Wiggles.
cement,
Shut
but
up!
it'll say on the
Don't
bag.
fucking fall for his trap.
Don't engage him with that.
Don't feed the troll. Come on,
Hungry minds want to know.
he can Google it. Thurgor, what do you got for feedback and outro comments and whatever?
All right, so I think everybody did great tonight. We got an awful lot accomplished. We did go a little bit longer than normal, but I'm
And here
great
I
with
was
that.
worried. Here I was worried about not having enough content.
So no, I think it all went really well. I think we did what we came here to do. Found out what we needed to find out, and we go back and see what the pentapods say after that.
Yeah.
As far as out of character goes, I crunched some numbers here just a minute ago. The stutter warp drives alone
Mm-hmm.
in those missile bodies, according to the architectural guide.
And you're
Or
basing
we're
that off of the
two-
Ritage 1 or whatever it was, right?
The two, yeah.
Yeah.
So
the
on
two.
those missiles, the full amount of the power is also the full amount of the stutter warp because there's no other accessory systems.
Right.
So that equates to 2.35 million livres per drive.
So 2.35 times 22, that's going to be like 50 million,
Almost,
give or take,
yeah.
right?
Something around there, yep.
Yeah.
So our boss, so even if our boss doesn't sell that at 50%, right?
Or even
He's
10%,
still-
that's going to be a lot of fucking money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he still made a lot of money on this trip.
Theoretically, yeah. The French Navy
Let's
is
keep
definitely
one.
going to want those missiles back, and they're going to probably be willing to pay something for it. I'm not saying that as a GM. I'm just saying that as a casual observer, because there are a
Let's
few
keep
other.
one.
I'm sorry.
I'm old.
Let's
Let's
keep
keep
one?
one. I'm
Let's keep-
old. I need an IRA.
Yeah, and you guys still don't know what's in those boxes. You got to figure out what the pentapods are up to because maybe that's worth knowing. Yeah, there's
Well,
quite a bit more.
hang
here.
on. As far as those boxes go, once we unlocked them off of the off of the shelving or whatever the heck they were on, were they not openable?
So imagine, I think I said wooden, maybe they're metal. I don't know what kind of boxes they are.
Composite. You said they were composite.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So there is individual boxes. I'm sorry. The boxes themselves were locked. Each one individually was chained or otherwise affixed to the wire shelf. There is the book doesn't say this specifically, but I feel like each one would have some sort of lock and key, but not just a physical lock and key, but like a digital lock and key or a keypad entry sort of deal. So there is a 3 or 4 button keypad that you have to make sure you put in the right combination or what have you to it.
Okay.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's the number to my luggage.
Well, we can deal with all that next time. But yeah,
Indeed,
I think everything went great, and I look forward to next week.
All right, awesome. All right, my friends, my viewers, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out, even if it was just for a little while, or if all you did was lurk in the background. Appreciate it nonetheless. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube and you've enjoyed this, I would sincerely appreciate you liking and subscribing and all that other stuff. But more importantly, and certainly more importantly to me, in the description is a link to the Discord server. Come on down, join the server, join the community, hang out, talk shit with us, because that to me is the biggest part of gauging whether or not people enjoy the content that we're putting out. Other than the fact that, YouTube says so many people have viewed so many videos or whatever. But I try not to get too caught up in that because numbers mean nothing and the points don't matter. Tomorrow night, the evening of the 16th of November, 7 p.m. Pacific, I will be streaming the final match of Week 6 for the Greyland Trios League 30-25 season. Rock City Wolverines hosting the American Industrialists. If you're following any of the GTL stuff, you know that this is the 3-on-3 Mega Mech League thing that I've got going on with a handful of other people. None of them are here right now. But regardless, this match being 2 GM-controlled teams, So I will be streaming that and then recording it, of course, for YouTube release following on Friday. Beyond that, Monday, more Solasta, and on the 22nd, more Second Star. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get some answers as to what these crazy five-legged bastards are up to. And maybe more questions to get answered. In the meantime, stay safe out there, my friends. Do what you got to do to take care of you and yours. As for me and mine, we're getting out of here. So have yourselves a wonderful evening, day, morning, noon, or night, whatever it is for you, wherever it is you are. And we will catch you next time.